Hello, welcome to another Gridiron. It's called Gameday Live, isn't it? We're called Gridiron Hub. Welcome to another Gameday Live. This week it's just me in terms of presenting. So Oz, Hatch, and Mikey are all off doing other stuff. They might pop in and say hello. It'd be nice. So you're stuck with me. I'm going to do my best to keep up. I'm still recovering from COVID pneumonia, so I need to watch how much I talk, but this show's typically sort of 4 hours long, and I'll do what I can. Lots to talk about, which is quite cool. Well, I don't know, maybe not all of it's cool, some of it's a bit disheartening, but lots happening this week which I want to sort of go over. I do have backup today in the form of producer James, so let me just bring him on quick.
Yeah, right,
James,
Steve.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm ready for the backup. If you need to bring me in at any point to help you talk, I'm more than happy to.
Oh, you're the man. Thank you. I'll see how I go. I mean, I've got some water. I'll pace myself as well. I'll try not to get too excited.
Do we have any roving reporters today?
We haven't had any confirmed. That's a good question. So actually, there is. The Knights have been in contact with me, and they want to go to their session. However, I want to cover that in a bit greater detail because they don't have a game.
Okay.
Essentially, what they're doing is they did a post last night to say, "Oh, we're still going to have a game." And I thought that was cryptic, and I thought I'm quite close to the guys at the Knights, obviously, and because I used to play for them, and I almost messaged them, but I didn't. And then their head coach contacted me today, and he said, "Yeah, we're doing the same thing. It's going to be offense versus defense." And I was like, "Oh, right." And by same thing, I mean like they didn't like their game day experience hasn't been cancelled because it was literally 9 p.m. last night.
Oh wow.
That the other team, the Sussex Thunder, pulled out. So I think in the interest of saving face locally. Because this was their first game at their new ground, and they're like drumming up interest, telling residents, "Oh, come over, it'll be great. There's a bouncy castle and all this sort of stuff." So I think they've decided to put it on as a day, and I said to them, like, let me know the scores.
Down there? We should be on site, Steve.
Yeah, well, if there was a good enough internet connection, I'd go down there. I'll go on location, but yeah. So I think it's the Knights have made. Are trying to make the most of a really difficult situation, well, I don't know. For me, like in terms of it being a game, like it's not a game, but I love their spirit. I love what they're trying to do, and it's that a lot of clubs have been dealt blows like this season, and it's a tough thing for clubs to deal with. If you're the hosting team and you've got to cancel everything out, particularly at the 11th hour, it's a difficult thing. So respect to them for being positive and still keeping the team together for a day and doing something that will benefit their club. Obviously I think their game is going to be awarded as a walkover, not confirmed yet, but it seems that makes sense. I think we're starting to get to the sharp end of the season, and we're running out of time to reschedule stuff. So we'll see. Anyway, right, should we have a look at the fixtures this week?
Yeah, we can run through them.
Let's get them up.
No flag this week.
No flag and no women's this week. So obviously I know we base it we're week 8 in the kitted season. The adult contact, is the correct term. Obviously there's also been the under 13s. A lot of their seasons ended yesterday. I don't know if it's everyone, but I saw some teams sort of crowning themselves champions, or not crowning themselves, obviously they earned it, but posting about it. So I know very little about the under 16s and the under 13s, and trying to sort of build my repertoire of knowledge out. But the one post I did see was their Hertfordshire Cheetahs went 12-0 for the first time ever. and obviously champions. So congrats to them. But yeah, it's I'm actually, we said last week we're going to create a rod for our own back with adding this coverage to what we do, but it's it's definitely the right thing to do. It's definitely right that we do give attention and exposure to this, even though it'll probably take us a few years to build out our knowledge of of those other disciplines. It did with me with Uniball. I didn't know anything about Uniball when we first started Gridiron Hub, and I would say I'm okay now, but yeah, so it's it's right that we do that. There's still flag as well going on. There's no flag this weekend. There's no women's this weekend, but there is under 19s and under 16s. Some fixtures already been played, and we'll go through those. And we've got all but one result from what I can tell from yesterday. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, let's focus on the adult kitted. So we've got, and what I've got. So this week, Facebook let me down. It wouldn't let me do the polls, which I do for the win-loss. The picks at the moment. So yeah,
I've got no picks. Great stuff.
Well, no, we do have picks, but I had to do it in Google, and I've done it in Google. We had only 45 responses. Normally we have hundreds. So and the reason for that, I believe, so in setting it up, it had an option that you could let everyone only do it once, a maximum time of one. I was like, yeah, I need to do that because I don't want someone just spamming and skewing the numbers. Yeah. But in order to do that, it required someone to log in, and I was like, that's a hurdle going to be too far for many people. So we've got really reduced numbers. So 45, I think it was that ended up responding. We'll go through the results there just because I think it's worthwhile. It really has backfired that, because I was hoping I'd be able to share those results like a link, and I can't. So I need to figure out a way of getting that together. But yeah, so I'll do it on here. Anyway, so let's just go through these games. So the first one we've got is in Caledonia. It's East Kilbride Pirates versus the Inverclyde Goliaths. Now, the Pirates beat the Wolves 14-0 last week, quite ceremoniously.
Is this Inverclyde's first game? I haven't seen them properly
yet. Yes, this is their first game. Inverclyde are no pushover. They I don't think they've actually ever lost the game. Okay. They blazed through Div 2, got into Div 1, and then obviously we didn't have a season. There's a lot of, from what I understand, former Trojans there, West Coast Trojans, and they're a solid side. Are they good enough to beat, arguably at the moment, the best team in Scotland? My answer's no, actually, but I think they're going to give them a game.
I want to write these predictions down.
Yeah, go on, and then I can look like an idiot at the end of the show.
Well, you know what? You told me they've never lost a game, so I'm going to take you on that.
So you're going to go for the Goliaths?
Yeah, why not?
Good on you. Right, so let's just have a quick look. So that game has got 89% of the people voted for the Pirates to win. So you're in a. The 11%. You're in the 11%, mate. But good for you.
Sounds like I've got good odds on a betting.
Yeah. Right, then unfortunately we jumped to Mercia because of just the way this website displays it. But this game's already underway. Tamworth versus Shropshire. You got any thoughts on this from you, James?
I mean, Tamworth have just been rolling through everyone, so I don't think anything different really.
No, I'm hopeful of a good defensive display from the Revolution to stop the free flow scoring of Tamworth. Do you know what? Just in the interest of competitiveness. But I can't see past the Tamworth win here. I just think they're going to have too much in the armoury for Shropshire. I think Shropshire will have a good early game. Well, they are so far. From what I can tell, it's 0-0. But I think what will happen is that, fatigue will set in. Yeah. The starters will start to get exhausted, and then Tamworth. That's when their next level will kick in. So that's my thoughts. There is that they'll win this game. This one, I think the Crewe Railroaders have sort of won over the hearts of the nation
Yeah.
in Britball. I think they pulled out of one fixture, and that was due to injuries. But other than that, they've been up against it all season. We've been in that Mercia League as a Div 2 team, playing some established Div 1 and obviously Prem opponents, and not giving up and going for it and playing the full games. And they're in my call book, right? So
I mean, they scored last week according to our so.
Yeah, Mikey couldn't let it go, could he? But yeah, so in that, my heart heavily says Crew, but my head and this one says the Surge. I think it's interesting because you can look at it two ways. Crew could be buoyant and think, well, we've just played the best team that we could possibly play, or we've ever possibly played. That we've ever played, and they're not going to be as good as them, and we've got nothing to be afraid of. There's that line of thought, but then it could also be that they've got bumps, knocks. They're a bit smashed up, and the Surge take advantage. So, I like I said, my head says the Surge. Unfortunately, on this one, and I don't mean that as an insult against the Surge in any way. It's just Crew have just been ballers this year. And credit to them. So yeah,
I'd love to be proven wrong, but I will go Staffordshire.
Yeah, all right, cool. Let's just have a quick look at the Tamworth. So Tamworth 91% of the vote, and the Surge.
Look, they have won the hearts of the people. Over 25% of the vote there.
So yeah, there's I mean, basically what we're saying. Then up to the Scottish leagues with Saltire. The Dumfries Hunters, who played last week, I think.
The name doesn't ring a bell to me, but
yeah, no, they didn't. This is their first game. I got that wrong. It was the Stags that played last week. So the first game for both of these sides, Dumfries versus Clyde Valley. If I'm right here, Dumfries are a Div 2 team. Clyde Valley are a more established Div 1. Clyde Valley are nicely placed. They're I think they're Glasgow area. Really nice catchment. I think they're going to be a stronger side. I think they're going to take the win there. I don't know, obviously. And then
we haven't really got much to go on. It's both their first games. You know what? I like the Hunters logo more, so I'm going for them.
Good. And then we've got the reverse fixture of what we had 2 weeks ago, which is Dunfermline versus Highland. And I can't see past Highland. I can't see Dunfermline overcoming a 35-point deficit. Mm-hmm. I know the Bournemouth Bobcats did against the Knights, something very similar. But I think that's a bit of a one-off, and you won't see it again. And so I think this one, particularly with the Stags being at home, you're going to see probably a very similar scoreline.
Isn't Highland they're the ones that are way out the way, right?
Mate, proper. They've got a north-facing beach. That's where they are. So let's just have a quick look at those guys. Highland getting 63% of the vote there, and pretty even between the Hunters and the Blackhawks.
It's
with the Blackhawks just pipping it. But yeah, you're right. First game. Okay, fair enough. We'll see how it goes. I actually think that's being a bit generous to the Hunters, but fine. What do I know? This one, I think is pretty straightforward. I think this one's a Cats win. Ouse Valley really optimistic going into the season, just haven't had the results, and the Cats are just formidable. I think they're going to. I think with this win, with this game, if they win, they'd go 4-0. Yeah. So it's top versus bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The Ouse Valley just haven't really fired all season. They
if
did
Ouse
okay.
Valley score, I'll be happy for them.
Yeah, yeah. So that one's probably going to be a bit one-sided. Let's just see what the 74% went for the Cats on that one. Then we've got Gateshead versus the DC Presidents. I'm pretty sure this game was played the other day as well. I think we've seen this fixture already,
yeah,
and I'm
definitely.
fairly sure that this one got stopped at half time
Yeah.
when they
Is this
played
a-
previously.
I
44
thought it might have
0.
been a Lightning one, but maybe not.
No, I'm pretty sure this one was stopped. Oh no, actually, it may be the one before that. I know DC haven't finished all of their games, but they haven't scored a single point all season. This is their fourth game. They've not played since week 6, so they've had 2-3 weeks to
work
lick
out
their
the score.
wounds and figure stuff out. But I just think Gateshead are too strong. Gateshead are second in the league, 2-1 record or 2-1-1 record, and I just think they're gonna they'll take it here. Again, 78% of the vote there, so fairly
I don't know
convincing.
who's high on the Gateshead high on the presidents there, but yeah, if they
It's
score,
typically the presidents. Like it's usually people from their own team.
yeah,
White Rose again, another two very one-sided games in my opinion. The Rams have been formidable. Scoring really really well. Quite a stingy defense. The Giants are just head and shoulders above everyone else in that division. I can't see past those two winning. Let's just have a quick look at White Rose. Where is it? This is unbelievable that the Sheffield Giants have only got one game in the books, and that is actually against the Raiders.
the Raiders.
The Sheffield Giants have had 3 games postponed or cancelled on them. So they're actually on their 5th fixture today,
Yeah.
but they've only played 1 game.
Well, they're well rested.
Yeah, I mean, it just is ridiculous. But so I just think the Rams. Look, the last time they played the Mustangs, it was 57-0. I think this one's like these two fixtures here are going to be
same for me on those two.
Yeah, so to confirm that 93 or 95% if you round it up, and 85%. Yeah, so look, a lot of one-sided games this week, unfortunately. This one, again, this is another one that where there's a team with good spirit and that have overachieved this season by what was predicted of them. The Chester Romans have just done extremely well this season. They've got a really tough challenge today, and I don't think that they'll be able to overcome the Nighthawks. But again, it's one of those ones that you're like, I just want them to get a few points. I want them to, make a game of it. Hopefully they come out safe. They don't get injuries. They do all right. They've had the last time they played them, they only lost by 9 points. It was 89 points scored in that game. They've got nothing to fear.
Yeah.
The Merseyside Nighthawks are the ones that have got something to lose here, but I don't think they will. I think Merseyside have sort of in the last couple of games in their last game 60-0 against the Wolverines. I just think they're sort of starting to click a little bit. And
well, you know what? Because they're the closest neighbour, I'll go for the Romans. Why not? Take on the Nighthawks.
Cool. Then we got this game's a controlled scrimmage. Although I feel like a better description is probably friendly rather than a controlled scrimmage. Although we had that debate last week, but both of these teams will be going for it. And judging off of the predictor, the score predictor post that we did. Most people are going for the Titans, and I feel compelled to go for the Titans as well. Mm-hmm. Although I do feel there's like a risk of just discounting the Falcons. The Falcons to me feel like a team that could just suddenly turn you over and
any given Sunday.
Yeah. They're sort of like they're just below the parapet. I think they're about to sort of break through as an organisation. They've obviously done well in the past, but that there's that talk of their American players and their eligibility and stuff, and apparently that comes into this. But I don't know. I don't never get caught up with it until there's some official release. But on balance today, I think the Titans will take it. Let's have a little look. Where is it? Yeah, 83% people voted for that one. Let's just check Chester Romans and Merseyside. 80% for that one as well. So yeah, a lot of one-sided. This game has already been It's already been awarded as a walkover.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, it hasn't been awarded as a walkover. It's been
No.
cancelled. We're waiting to find out. So that's why I haven't put it as a walkover. Yeah, so it's the Knights, like I said, are going to play against the Knights, and they're going to still have a game, or they call it a game. But yeah, making the most of their really tough situation. And Coach Ellis from the Sussex Standard actually reached out to me and wants to do come on and do like an interview and talk about it. So we'll do that this week at some point. But yeah, really difficult there for the Wessex League. South East. I think that's top v bottom. I think that the Essex Spartans and the South East Squadron. Let's have a little look. The Squadron. There's no way the Squadron should be at the top. We need to sort that out. But yeah, they do have the record for it. But the Spartans are on 1-1. I didn't realise that. But if we look at who they've played, they got beat. They got beat by the East Essex Sabres, who are flying in that division this year. I know there's not that so. The only comparison you can do is Essex have played the Thunderbolts and beat them 62-2. The Squadron played the Thunderbolts and beat them 21-0. I think Essex are good for this one.
Yeah, I would say Essex.
Let's have a little look. See what the poll said. Yeah, 80%. There's a lot of 80% as we're getting here. Then we've got the Jurassic Coast Raptors back in action after pulling out of a game against the Somerset Wyverns. This is a good game.
Yeah, I think it's more evenly matched.
Yeah, I do, but I do think the Wyverns will pip it. So
I'm going Raptors. We've seen them play fairly well, I think.
Yeah. Well, the Wyverns have got 59% of the vote. So yeah, nice and like you said, close, a little bit more closely contested. But I think the Somerset will get this one. This game is a good game. Mm-hmm. I really like this game. London Hornets versus the Wembley Stallions. These teams are like a stone's throw away from each other. You know, they got very similar, obviously catchment area because of it. Obviously, with it being in London, it's sort of not such an issue. Both they're different types of teams. I see the Hornets as like a hard-nosed team, and I see the Stallions as a bit more skillful base, a bit more of a skillful team. I'm going to say the Stallions, but I can see this one going either way.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Stallions on that one. Okay,
cool.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go. I'll say Stallions.
Stallions.
And 63% said that as well. And then we move over to 7. So there was a game so there's 2 games that have been awarded as walkovers. You can see them both on screen there. So one from 7, which is the Aztecs versus the Black Knights, Premier versus Div. Barely established Div 2. Yeah, just stupidity, and that this stupid season continues. And then Scunthorpe Alphas versus the South Links Lightning. That reverse fixture was played last week with the Lightning winning.
Yeah.
And that one, people aren't reacting too strongly to that. It's a massive cop out from them to not play this game. And a pie in the face for the Alphas, unfortunately. So I feel for those guys. But yeah, those are the 2 that they are confirmed 1-0 walkovers. Back to the other 2 fixtures. So we've got South Wales Warriors and the Swindon Storm. I think they've played each other already.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Sure. Yes, they have. Oh no, they haven't. Sorry. No, they've not. So this is the first time they're coming up against each other. I think South Wales are just going to be a bit too strong for them. Although South Wales, they beat the Black Knights, but they lost to the Birmingham Bulls a couple of weeks ago. But I think the Bulls are a class above the Swindon Storm. So I think this one, I think there's going to be scores both ways. I think I'm going to still go with South Wales here.
I'll go Swindon.
So 72% on that. I keep getting all the majorities. I'm the man.
You just don't like the underdog, Steve. Just say it.
No, just a realist. And And then this game is my favourite game of the week. This is a real full fixture. It's cross-divisional between the Solent Thrashers and the London Olympians. I think these teams are very evenly matched. Very difficult to tell much between them because of obviously we don't have any like opponents. But from their journeys and their sorry, I just seen a comment from Grant. I'll come back to that. From their journeys and their where they've performed over the last couple of years, it feels like this is going to be a really, really good game. Now, again, I will go in. This was one that we had some prediction scores for, so I'm going to go into that, have a look at that, and talk about that. But I actually think that the Solent Thrashers are going to win this one by 2 to 3 scores.
Okay.
And I know I'm putting my neck out a little bit there, but that's where I am.
Just because I've got a disdain for London, I'm going to go Solent as well. But
okay, so let's see. And on the poll, 70% have gone for the O's, which is quite interesting. So that's the first one I've gone for an underdog.
I'm very proud of you, Steve. Very proud of you.
Yeah, it's a big moment for me. But yeah, cool. Okay, so that's that. Right, let's get that gone. Someone's just asked. So Grant has just asked, when did the Source forfeit? I think we posted about it early, like last week. It was like middle of last week that they did it. So it was quite a while ago. Again, sort of shows that it wasn't to do with coronavirus. It was to do with competition, unfortunately. So yeah. Anyway, right. Well, James, I'll let you drop off and then I'll
Cool.
crack on, mate.
Yeah, let me know if you need me.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Cool. Right. So hold on. Let me just see if there's any. Well, James will be looking right now, but we'll see if there's any score updates quickly. While we've been live, it looks like a lot of games are kicked off now, which is good. No, I've got 0-0s across the board. I can't see the Phoenix score. I imagine I just think that between the Phoenix and the Revs, there must be a score in that game now. Let's just have a quick look. No. One thing that I saw on our Gameday scores thread, this someone had posted a link to a live stream for the Jurassic Coast Raptors versus the Somerset Wyverns. So I clicked into it, went onto it, it asked me to register, and unfortunately it was for a website that wanted me to then provide my card details before it let me watch a free stream, and I was like, nah. So, I mean, each to their own, you guys may want to do that, but I don't even know if that's real or not. I didn't get past the card details bit, so I'm not sure if there's if it's actually a legit thing.
I deleted that comment because it looked like it was from a Russian bot. So
okay, cool. So yeah, thanks. There you go, James looking after us. Yorkshire with the exceptional graphics again. Okay, cool. We'll have a look at that in a sec. Cool. Right, let me close this down. There's a few bits I wanted to talk about. So yeah, there was the game of the week that we had, which was the Solent Thrashers one, and the scores for this that people have been putting up they like swing both ways, if you like. Hold on, let me just sort out the overlay there. There's people that think the Thrashers are going to go by 40 points, and people that think that the O's are going to go by 40 points. So this one's a really good one, there's I think we had someone, I think we did have someone put in a draw. I haven't counted up the amount of, if it's the amount of people who are for and against each team, but I think on balance the O's pip it. Probably by about 60 or 65%. So yeah, I just thought that was quite interesting. For those of you that don't know this post, what we do each week is we pick a game and we ask people to predict the exact score. And if you predict the exact score correctly, then we'll give you a £50 Amazon voucher. So always worth getting involved. Too late now obviously game day now. We shut off at 10 on a Sunday for this. But yeah, we actually have 2 going this week, because the first one that we did, which I'll go to now, was Leicester Falcons versus Manchester Titans, and that game was turned into a controlled scrimmage. So we've actually got 2 going. So hopefully, for me, we don't get 2 winners, but we could do. This one's just a bit more difficult. I didn't want to get rid of it because people had entered it, and so I kept it there. And it's a controlled scrimmage. We will get. Well, I don't think it is a controlled scrimmage. I think it's a friendly, and I think BAFA need to do a better job of articulating that. Because for me, or I say for me, for everyone, what a controlled scrimmage means is that you're basically practicing together and putting situations and structures and trying different plays and doing like 10 offensive plays in a row, regardless of down and distance and all that. Like it's a contrived practice session, and this feels like it's going to be a friendly, like an actual game. They're going to try and win, proper rules of the game, referees, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think this one is a friendly, and because of that, we are still doing the score prediction thing. So and this one so heavily one-sided to the Titans. Like I hardly saw any predictions that had the Falcons winning, which was a bit disheartening, because you sort of think, like, when you pick the game of the week, well, the Breens pick the game of the week, you sort of want one that is a bit more akin to what we saw with the Thrashers and the O's, right? You want to see competition. So but yeah, anyway, so that's that. Let me just get rid of that. Gareth Jones, hey Gareth, has said, after the car crash of a season with a pile of teams folding, what kind of competition can we expect, if any, in 2022? I think we sort of touched on this last week, Gareth, actually. Hold on, I need to put my borders up so it doesn't look just like me, my camera. I think it will take Britball 2 or 3 seasons to recover from this season. I mean by that, with competition, with attracting people, for it to get back to the level that it was. I think it will take a couple of seasons. I think there's going to be a lot of people that stay away, that have got used to certain lifestyle changes, or just not playing. It's hard. How do you attract players at the moment? Let's say you're the Sheffield Giants. Not saying they're not doing a bad job of it, but we're on our 5th fixture today and we've only played 1 game. It's a dire situation, which you've pointed out, Gareth. But I just think we will have competition. It will be it will be better next year. I don't doubt that, and it will be better the year after. It's just, how long will it take to recover to the point that we were, and then we can start moving forward. I think it'll take a couple of seasons. We've got a score update. So the Raptors 0 and the Wyverns 0 at the end of the first quarter. So thanks for that, James. Appreciate that. One thing I do want to... one thing I always do is read out the BAFRA news flash, or pieces of it. There's actually some really good information in it this week. So for those of you that don't know, the BAFRA news flash is from the Referees Association, and every week they release quite a good little newsletter update, well, a news flash, sorry, I should call it. I just wanted to read that out and see. Well, we usually focus on the people who are banned, but there's actually some really good updates in it. So let's just read that out. So the first one was half-time duration. What they've said is there is a misconception that the half-time intervals can be routinely shortened from its normal 20 minutes. This is not so. Half-time is an important period for players and officials to recuperate. Any shortening of it may have implications for the players' stamina in the second half and consequently their safety. There are exceptions, including where any competition authority agrees before the game that half-time can be shortened to solve a scheduling problem. The referees can also shorten half-time if darkness may be a problem. Otherwise, the duration should only be shortened in exceptional circumstances. One example might be if there's been a long delay during the second quarter due to lightning or injury, which had already provided the players with a rest. And he said, please, if you're shortening half-time, don't. So just I think it's sort of a bit telling. I think like last week as well, and the reason I thought this was quite pertinent was last week we had examples of hearing like coach wanting to go to a running clock to just sort of kill the game, end the game, get it over with, and this sort of feels like another element of that, like just teams that are like done, and it kills me, like, because I want competition and I want people to think they can come back and try and win and give a game of it. But yeah, this being in the news flash just sort of was, I don't know, quite telling for me. Then the next one, COVID mechanics. So anecdotal evidence suggests that many teams are not being particularly bothered about maintaining social distancing within the team area. That's their choice. Where they don't get a choice is with regard to the safety of the officials. I'm pleased to see that officials are exercising their personal choice to wear face covering on the field, but we can do more. And then there's a list of things. So remember that the coaching box line should be 12 feet from the sideline, and the team area 24 feet back, unless there isn't room. Keep everyone back for your own and their safety. Our ball relay mechanics aim to reduce the number of people handling the ball. Where possible, at the end of the play, the umpire should either get the odd ball from the ball carrier or get a new ball directly from the ball person. Wing officials should not need to handle the ball routinely. Whether you're vaccinated or not, there's still a pandemic on and we need to think of each other's safety. So that's from Jim Briggs, the rules editor. So yeah, just quite interesting that those two things are sort of top of mind for BAFA. Concerns about, safe COVID practices within teams and just game day management, and then also the durations of half times being shortened. There are a couple of shout outs here for people who became qualified, so I'll do those just because it's nice. So Robin Boyd and Riaz Fazal, hopefully I'm saying those names correctly, are now qualified refs, so good for them. Right, let's get on to the disciplinary stuff. So I only ever read out the stuff that's like for today, so the 15th. Daniel Stokes from the Rushmore Knights was supposed to serve a ban against Sussex today because last week, with 10 minutes remaining, he was seen to punch an opponent on the ground. So that'll obviously roll over to the next game for the Knights. Paul Ross, number 69 for the Clyde Valley Black Hawks. He was seen to headbutt a player after a play was over, obviously from a previous season. So he's suspended for the game against Dumfries today. David Strachan, number 46 for the Inverclyde Goliaths. With approximately 4:30 left in the second quarter, Mr. Strachan was seen to headbutt an opponent, so he misses the game against East Kilbride. And then lastly, Nate Webb, again, serving the third of his 3-game ban for his flagrant fouls. Nate Webb is number 85 for the South Wales Warriors, and he serves his third ban against the Swindon Storm today. Cool. Right, we've just got an update here. Let's see what this is. A sloppy first quarter from Tamworth, including 2 turnovers from their opening drives. Wow, so 0-0 first quarter and a great display from the Shropshire defence. Phoenix have scored twice in the second quarter, including a great punt return for a TD. So Tamworth 14, Shropshire 0. So yeah, well, that's cool. I mean, still within grasp for Shropshire. They can still stay in the game. We'll see how they do. Right, let's have a look at Twitter and we'll see what's going on. So the Cambridgeshire Cats, they score in their first drive, touchdown from number 10 Neil Dempsey to number 12 James Horn, extra point from number 44 David Johnson, which was a 1 PAT, so 7-0 to the Cats over the Ouse Valley Eagles. Essex Spartans are on the ball. Yorkshire Rams look like they're about to kick off now that the medics arrived. Jurassic Coast, end of first quarter 0-0. I think we knew that. The Rams are putting up their awesome graphics again with their starting defence and their starting offence. Amazing media from those guys. The Wyverns tried to do The Ravens did an onside kick to start their game against the Raptors, and they recovered it, which is pretty cool. I know I'm sort of going back in time here, but yeah, that's us caught up. Cool. Another score update here. Tamworth have now gone 27-0 up against Shropshire. Any update on the Implements Thrashers? No, I don't even think it's kicked off yet. Nathan, let's have a quick look. I got the kickoff times up. Oh no, it would have kicked off. No score update yet, mate. But we'll let you know if there is. Just so, as I said, I'll just get some banners up and go through. So there's no adult flag fixtures this week, and also no women's contact fixtures this week. I'm pretty sure next week they both kick back in again. We have had some under 19s and some under 16s games today and yesterday. So let's just go through those, shall we? So yesterday you had in the Div 2 Northwest, the Wigan Bandits played Lincolnshire Bombers and lost 53-12. The Bandits then also played the Chester Romans and lost 40-0. And then the Romans played the Bombers and the Romans won 51-8. Then in the Div 2 South, the Poole Dolphins lost to the Rushmore Knights 28-8. The Poole Dolphins then lost 46-15 to the Essex Spartans before the Essex Spartans beat the Rushmore Knights 46-4. Today there's games in the Div 1 North between the Sheffield Giants and the Chorley Buccaneers. That game kicked off at 11, so we'd have a result for that, but we haven't got it through yet. The Manchester Titans play the Yorkshire Academy Assassins. That kicked off at midday, so we should have a result for that, or just about, but not through yet. Then in the Div 1 Midlands, we've got the Birmingham Lions and the Nottingham Caesars that kicked off at 2, so just underway there. Down in Div 1 South, the South East Legion and the Thames Valley Tigers play each other, and that game kicked off at midday, and we don't have the score for it yet. Then moving on to the under 16s. So yesterday was a lot of games were played. So in the Northeast we had the Northeast Giants beating the Darlington Steam 36-6. Then Gateshead were just powerful. They beat the Northeast Giants 68-0, and they beat the they beat the Darlington Steam 38-0, but that was called at half time. So Gateshead are extremely dominant at this under 16s level. Midland B, Northants Knights 20, Rugby Rhinos 0. The Bedfordshire Blackhawks 20, the Northants Knights 6. Bedfordshire Blackhawks and Rugby Rhinos game was actually changed to a controlled scrimmage after some injury, so I didn't get the result for that. And then the Leicester Falcons were due to play in that same tournament against Bedford Blackhawks and the Rugby Rhinos, as well as the Northants Knights, but they had to pull out. So 3 1-0 walkovers were awarded for those 3 games, and I think if that's the end of their season, they lost all of their games, the Leicester Falcons. In the South B, the Berkshire Renegades lost 22-6 to the Farnham Knights. The Swindon Storm and the Hertfordshire Cheetahs, I don't have the result for that. The Berkshire Renegades and the Hertfordshire Cheetahs, again, I don't have the result for that yet. Swindon Storm lost 7-42 to the Farnham Knights, and the Farnham Knights lost 32-19 to the Hertfordshire Cheetahs. And then Swindon Storm and the Berkshire Renegades played, but we don't have the score for that. So I know in that division, the Hertfordshire Cheetahs ended up going undefeated and winning, so congrats to them. So yeah, you're all up to date on the scores. What else have we got? Shout out to all the BAFTA officials out there. Thanks, Nathan. 46-4 is a weird scoreline from Dave Gibbs. Yeah, it's Dave. Teb, is it just me today? Yeah, it is, mate. You can jump in if you want. I'd love some company, but yeah, it's just me. Well, it's not just me. I've got James with me as well. He's backing me up. He's feeding me all the data, and I'm just reading it out. So he's working away like a maniac in the background. But we're doing it between us. Last week we had 4 of us. This week there's 2 of us, but we hopefully can maintain the level. But shouldn't you be playing, Chris? You're an Ouse Valley player. and and I think you're you one score down to the Cats at the moment. So it's give me a bit. If he comes on, that'd be amazing. Okay, cool. I'll send you the James. If you could send Chris Tebbett the link on Teams, that'd be cool. Half time in Tamworth, and the last score there was 27-0. So I assume it's half time at 27-0. Got popped for COVID this week. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. The Rams are driving now. So I'm just getting some updates from Twitter. So, do you know what? Today we are spoiled on Twitter for updates. There's a few clubs that are really good tweeters, and they're all playing. So yeah, we should have some really good content today. So this is from the Rams. Big game from Conor Moran on first down is also brought back. This time for a block in the back, but the Rams are driving. So nothing else actually to share. What other scores have we got? Someone said Nighthawks 7, Romans 0. So we've got Nighthawks 7, Romans 0. Assuming that's still in the first quarter, right? Andy Locke, thank you, mate. It's just confirmed that the Rams have scored their first touchdown of the day against the Raiders. Assuming the Pat's pending. I'm just looking at their Facebook because the Rams are pretty good with that. Any updates on the Spartan Squadron game, please? I just missed the score updates. Currently 0-0 from what we know, James. So no scoreline there. Well, I suppose there is a scoreline, but no points scored yet. Thank you, Andy. Really appreciate that. So the Rams scored their touchdown, went for 2 points, but failed. So 6-0 there as they then moved to kick off. I don't know what I've got. The reason I'm looking over here, guys, I'm looking at Score Stream. I've got Score. I have like loads of stuff open. James does as well, and I don't know why people bother with Score Stream. No one actually updates it until like. Well, there's games that go and you get full time 0-0, and you think, well, that wasn't 0-0. Like, people just don't update it. Weird. Anyway, so while we're waiting, because obviously games will start kicking off now, which will be good, and we'll start seeing stuff come through. There are a few bits I wanted to share, but that we're doing on Gridiron Hub, or stuff that we've posted last week. So I just let me just bring this up. So this is This was massive, right? This was in the week. Mike Ireland, who was co-hosting with us last week, he runs the Schmider series. So there's like a number of charity games that most of them are supporting Lifting the Lid, which is Wayne Drew's mental health organisation. Fantastic organisation. Looking to help mostly. People that play American football, but he'll help anyone. Wayne, he's heart of gold. But anyway, so Mike runs that, and he had this competition coming up they've got this tournament coming up, 4-a-side beach flag tournament in Newquay in September, and it had been open. They still needed a couple more teams, and he managed to get some sponsors to give him £500 to give away to the winning team, and I was like, for me that was like amazing. And he and I were chatting about it. I was like, I don't know that that's ever, like, in the whole time I've played Britball or been involved with it, which is like 15 years now, I've never seen any prize like that, like just for someone just winning something. Obviously you get that, like, the plaudits of a a Britball and all that sort of stuff, and winning a championship. But I've never seen like a cash prize or like a winning thing, and I just thought it was amazing, and it's actually, you know. He's looking to sort of up level it next year and try and get even more money and more teams involved. But I just thought, like, this is huge. And what Mike's doing is absolutely tremendous. He's got a very unique way about him. He's an awesome guy. I get on so well with him. But you know, he's got this niche, this Schmider stuff, this event stuff, and people buy into it. You know, like the whole Thundering Herd he's involved with. He's got some other stuff in the pipeline which I can't talk about, but I know about and I'm really excited about. He's a great guy, and this just sort of shows that things are starting to work for him and click for him, and it obviously helps everyone out, you know, in the game and in the sport. So for me this was like a huge announcement, you know, and I was really pleased for Mike, and I just obviously wish him all the best. But yeah, I think I'm not actually plugging this because I think the cutoff is gone now. I think there's no. I think they've either filled the teams or they've hit their deadline. But yeah, I just thought like attention needs to be brought to this, and I wanted to give a bit of a shout out to it. So there you go. From Nathan, that's brilliant. Yeah, it is, mate. And I'm glad someone out there agrees. This is brilliant. So remember the Chester Romans and the Merseyside Nighthawks are now 7-7. Remember the last time these two played, the Nighthawks won, but by 9 points, 49-40. So this one looks like it might be another close one, and I love it. You know, I can't see past the Nighthawks winning here, but just kudos to the Romans for giving him a game. And I'm not saying, you know, if the Romans win, I'll be over the moon. But yeah, quality, great to see. We got a score from the Thrashers, so 8-0. So they've scored and got the 2-pointer. So they lead 8-0 over the London Olympians, which is exciting. Just see if we've got anything else that's come in. As always, guys, Fumble Return ran in a 2-pointer. Oh, wow. Sorry, let me just get that up rather than me reading it off of the screen. So it was a Fumble Return. So it was... I wonder if that was like a defensive score or a special team score. It sounds like it, doesn't it? Because you can't advance a fumble on offense, can you? So, and then they ran the 2-pointer in. So good for them. I reckon I know the play that Steve Rains ran to do that. It's called Download. He loves it. Steve Rains is an old head coach of mine, who's the Thrashers head coach now. Yeah, one thing I do want to sort of let people know. Obviously, I can see like people chatting in the in this on the live stream. Obviously, we get those comments up, which is great. But if anyone's on Twitter and sees anything on Twitter or even on Instagram and wants to bring it to our attention, then tag us in it or tag #GameDayLive, because then I can pick it up over on this screen and I can let people know what's going on. Yeah, just to let you know, help us get the information through so that we can keep, hopefully a centralised update, a centralised record of update for everyone. The Knights, I know the Knights, so I can just see on my Facebook that it says that they're now live. I know they wanted to go live throughout the day with different live streams on their Facebook. We can't do anything about I could show that actually. But it's not like something I can get involved with. But I did say to them, if you want to come and jump on the live stream, you can do so. The same goes for anyone else out there. So we've got the ability to send you guys just a little link. You go onto it on your phone, and if you're at a game, or even if you've got an update, you want to talk to us about something, you can come on and go side by side on the screen with me, and we can have a chat. And I think today, more than any other day, I need it. So if anyone's out there that wants to come and jump on and just have a chat about a topic or whatever, just let me know. You can see I'm, looking at different content, trying to pull stuff together. But obviously the scores are starting to come in now, which is great. But there's always time to stop and have a quick 5-10 minute chat with anyone. So just let me know. Okay, cool. So what else have we got here? So from Twitch, under 16s Midlands yesterday, Northants 20, Rugby 0, Northants 6, Bedford 20. So thank you. I'm assuming that those are the scores we don't have. So thank you so much for filling those in for us. The Bedford withdrew from game 3 versus Rugby, and Leicester pulled out from the tournament. Yeah, so that's something I noticed yesterday, right? So for the first time, I looked at the under 16s fixtures, and what I noticed was like they played back to back to back. So they're literally like, oh, game 1 kicks off at midday, game 2 at 2, game 3 at 4, and you'll have the same teams playing playing like double or in some instances triple headers. And I just thought there's no rest for these guys, and it doesn't surprise me that then teams may have to pull out in the third games. Like, just cause, I don't know, it seems odd. Like, I know they play a different format. I know it's like 5-a-side or 7-a-side in some instances. The rules are different, but they're still going to get fatigued. They're still going to get it's still going to feel that they've played a game, right? Like, it's not like they're not trying hard, these lads. It just really surprised me that there's not a larger break in between these games, and that they try and cram so much in. And I know that the games are shorter, but it just felt like I'm not surprised seeing that teams, and that's the second example that I know of a team pulling out of games yesterday. So yeah, just I don't know if that's something that needs to be addressed. Maybe just put like a two game limit on a team. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. Rams 12-0. They haven't updated it. So thank you, Andy, for that. Pick 6 and they're 2 pick. So they keep going for 2, which is fair enough. But they're now 12-0 up. The Wyverns have just scored a late TD and failed their 2-point conversion. It's been a really tight game with both defences proving sturdy. That's from the Raptors. So the Wyverns are now 6-0 up against the Raptors. Nighthawks pull ahead. So this is just this. I wonder if this game's just going to be like tennis, like tit for tat. Score for score. We'll see. But yeah, the Nighthawks re-establish their 1-score lead, going for 1 and getting it. So yeah, playing it safe there, which is fair enough considering the who they're up against. From Doncaster, the Mustangs are starting the game on offense, so we'll see if they score from their opening drive. Hashtag pray for Donny. We enjoyed their enjoy the banter with them. They're a good side. Oh, I've got a friend that's joined, and I'm just going to bring him in.
Unbelievable stuff. I'm sat here in my house as opposed to playing.
Let me get your name up so everyone knows who you are. You put your full name. This is Teb, everyone. Yeah. This is Teb.
Not impressed with the people I work with popping me for COVID. 10 days. Worst days is double vaccinated. They would have waited a week. I wouldn't have had twice late at all. But here I am at home, not playing.
Mate. And do you feel insulted in any way? And I think you should, but I shouldn't preempt it, but do you feel insulted in any way that you're not available and your team still played?
God, just that feeling hasn't washed over me, Steve. Do you know what I mean?
What message are they sending to you here, Ted, by continuing to play the game against the Cats today?
Hey man, they've got to take that risk themselves. This is big talk coming from the captain of the team Penguin squad.
I'm not a captain, I'm a head coach.
Oh, sorry. To which I am a part.
I know, yeah. Well, exactly. Because as your head coach, if you weren't available for that game, mate, we would postpone it. Do you want to just introduce yourself? Because I don't think yeah, go on. Tell everyone who you are, what you do for Gridiron Hub.
Sure. So, Chris Tebbett, Last year I produced Ted Bet Tips, an NFL betting show. Also write articles mainly on quite fringe American football, such as the XFL, sometimes the AAF, but it's dead now, and then stuff like the X League. Though the X League don't respond to my emails.
No, they don't, and I've sent them stuff as well to their media team. And
no, exactly. That's the worst part. They have a whole
media team
for media team, and it's
it's like I can message the NFL and the NFL UK, and they will respond to me the same day. They're lovely. They're amazing. The NFL.
Honestly, I don't know.
And the XFL were just like fucking. And it was the same with. There was another league. There's another league. No, it wasn't Arena.
No, I'm talking about the X League. I'm talking about the women's league.
Oh, the women's one. Sorry, I was talking about the XFL.
No, it's like because there was that story.
The Extreme League.
Yeah, there was a story a couple weeks ago. Where it was like, oh, they're going to bring squads to England. I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, we've got like a relatively good women's American football scene. Emailed them, nothing. So if you obviously no one who's watching works for the X League. If you do, get in contact with me. I want to write a story on it.
What you're playing at, yeah. So that's Chris. Everyone, he's part of our team, and he's also, which he hasn't said, but he and his friend Elliot will also be the co-hosts for Gameday Live for the Uniball season. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, a year off of Uniball. You know, I certainly know my group of friends are still at university. A lot of people looking to prove themselves because, you know, they thought their last year. They didn't want to go out without football. A couple of them are doing a master's degree. Some of them, you know, doing a master's degree. Football may be weighing into that fairly heavily, just so they can have one last go around. I mean, I can tell you beat up the kids, so they can beat up the kids.
Mate, hey, my master's degree, a fair portion of that was me going, nah, I've not done enough on this team yet, and then went back and was a responsible adult and didn't drink. and now I'm here. So
cool.
But yeah.
So so with you said you're double vaccinated. I just want to cover this off quick.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that double vaccinated people could get pinged and have to stay in. And
so that stops tomorrow.
So you're not. So does that mean tomorrow you're free? Tomorrow
I'm free, as opposed to waiting the full 10 days. But
gotcha.
You know, it was if work, like, you know, if it was able to do it like next week and I get the message next Monday as opposed to last Monday, I would just, you know, take a test. If it's negative, carry on with my life, and I'd be suiting up today.
Gotcha,
you know?
Gotcha. So just really poor timing for you, basically.
It is. Yeah. You know, I don't do much apart from play football.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even do that.
So you play for Ouse Valley. So,
I do.
And I can remember talking to you the beginning of before the season started, and you said something along the lines of everyone's like pumped at the club, like it's a good place to be, and you're hoping to get a ring, like as in like, you know, you guys were looking really optimistic, like feeling really optimistic about winning games and performing well in this division. So what's happened?
I feel like it's a lot of things. Like I can definitely say on my end that you know,
I blocked my guy.
No, but I think it's like there's an experience there's an experience on my end, and you know, I'm not saying that that's for the whole club. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, it's a great team and it's a great bunch of people. We've had obviously some tough games, but I think even the coaches will have stressed that like some of the games we have played were winnable, and sometimes we are our own worst enemy, which seems to be the case in football. For example, like we've had glimmers of hope, you know, in the like the second Ipswich game, the Norwich game, you know, but it seems to be that like we're just our own worst enemy, and that's just how it goes in football most of the time. But like I said, I'm still enjoying playing for them. It's what the coaches say. As long as there's improvement week on week, then everything's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a nice approach for this season. Like, I think as long as you guys feel progress and people are still coming back and people are still learning and the playbook's getting executed better, and like your coach can actually give you that feedback and you can feel that there's purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily have to have those results on the board for it to be a successful season.
But that's it. Is that like there's, I know people in Britball who, like they're looking at this COVID season. They're like, oh, this is nonsense. But like as far as I'm concerned, like this is my first opportunity to play a full season of senior ball, and I feel like I'm progressing. So as far as I'm concerned, there's no waste involved in terms of my time or what I may do to my body, mainly my knees because on the line. So that's just how I look at it. It's been a great experience, and like I can't wait to come back. I wish I was down in Bedford now, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So
no, that's good. Well, I've got some updates to do, so let me just rattle through these. So I think I'd already said Romans Nighthawks 14-7. There has been an update there. Someone, Jack, popped up with always pray for Donny. The Cats missed a field goal on their second drive, so it's still 7-0 there with them against your boys. This is the one. This is the one I'm really looking forward to. The Romans have pulled back again. So I said, didn't I? Like, blow for blow. They didn't. It looks like they didn't get a pat, the PAT. So the Nighthawks remain 1 point ahead from what we can see. But yeah, giving it a game, and I love it. Another big one. The Thrashers 16-0 up against the London Olympians, a rushing TD and a 2-pointer. Let's just check. Donny do go down to Sheffield. I mean, the inevitable, right? The Giants are formidable, and Donny aren't bad, but it's going to be a tough game for them today.
It's disgusting that our good friend Elliot Maris is playing for the Sheffield Giants.
Oh, is he?
He is, yeah. Disgustingly. He loves to, rub it in the face that, the record. Don't care.
The Knights have just messaged me saying they're playing the offense versus defense because the Sussex Thunder pulled out last night, so they carried on with their game day experience for everyone, which fair play. It's 0-0 for them in their offense versus defense game, so yeah, which is hilarious. But probably makes sense, right? Like. So this is an interesting one from Nathan. So thanks for bringing this up, Nathan. So does anyone know the last fixture of the Senior League possibly in does anyone know last fixture date in the Senior possibly in September? No. Actually, I'm fairly sure that it goes through to like the 10th of October. There will be a very small gap between the end of the Senior League and the beginning of Bucks. Yeah, so this week on Friday, Bucks announced their fixtures, so a lot of teams pumping out their fixtures list. We're a little bit behind the curve on it because I got the spreadsheet from Bucks, from the commissioner, fixtures commissioner, and my web developer who then loads that up, like finished for the day, and I was like, all right, we'll have to just do it next week. So hopefully tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, but we'll have all those fixtures loaded into Gridiron Hub, into the website, and people can go and have a look at them, and we'll do poster document and stuff.
I want to look at that. I want to see.
But if you want to see them now, Bucks Play, download the Bucks Play app. And they're all on there. Like I don't want to sort of like harbour that information. It is public and it is available. Teams are posting about it. We just haven't yet because we got stitched with the timing of it. But it's all good. Rams are now 16-0 up. Thank you, Andy, for keeping us updated, mate. Bucks and thank you, Sean. Bucks starts on the 31st of October.
Nice.
So there's from what if that. Yeah. So I'm fairly sure the last games in Britball are the 10th. I'm just going to check something actually. One because it was quite interesting. I was messing around with our database earlier, And I wanted to, because Baffa have started to award some games as walkovers, which they hadn't done before. So I wanted to make sure we reflect that in our, in our database. Hold on, let's just check this. DC nil. So the DC Presidents nil. Gateshead Senators 6. Not sure I saw that reported. No, I don't think it had been Stuart. So thank you for sending that in via Twitch. Yeah. So anyway, I was looking at the fixtures and I thought, I want to add up and have a look at all of the fixtures that have been postponed, abandoned, just not played. Like, how many are there? So I'm going to get it up on screen so you guys can see it. Ted, how many do you think there is?
Oh, I'm going to say we including postponed.
So not including games where teams have folded, because those have been removed and they've been replaced. So for example, the Dreadnoughts, the Spartans, the Aberney Roughnecks, all those fixtures are void and gone and have been replaced. So you can't count those. But just games that have been cancelled, abandoned, postponed.
What about if an entire team has opted out?
If they had fixtures, then they would have been voided. So no.
I'm gonna go like 21. I think it's
okay, cool.
less than I think it is. But obviously, you see the reports coming in every day of oh.
I know, mate. See, the thing is, just quickly, thanks for that, Stuart. So South Wales Warriors 6, Storm 0 at the end of quarter 1. And the under-19s, Chorley Bucks beat the Sheffield Giants 62-24. Chorley only had 12 players. So thank you, John, for that. Really appreciate that update. We'll get that added. You're not too far off. Hold on, let me just... I've got this massive old spreadsheet that I'll just show very briefly. So this is all the fixtures for the season, right? This is like our back end of our website. And what I do is every time a game gets postponed or abandoned, and basically we're waiting for an outcome. But basically, I need to be told if it's a walkover. I put it down to the last day of the season, which is the 10th of the 10th. So all of these fixtures are the ones that have been moved, and there's 26. So Baffa have got 26 fixtures to try and reschedule, which just isn't going to happen, right? Like, there's no way that that's possible. Or there's going to be, I think they're going to be voided. I don't think they're going to do walkovers, although they have started doing a couple of walkovers now. So it'd just be interesting to see how that plays out. But 26, now there's only 238 fixtures, so over 10% of the fixtures this season are like in limbo, haven't been played and are just up in the air. We don't have a date for. They just don't know. They're there. They're just sat in the 10th of the 10th for me. So yeah, I don't think. Well, there's never been a season that's obviously this bad. For that sort of rescheduling, but yeah, I just thought it was quite an interesting point. And when I looked at it, I think, for example, the Knights today, right? They've had, I think this is their third fixture that they've had pulled from them, and if they don't get to replay that fixture, which like I said, I don't think is going to be possible for a lot of these fixtures, then they're shortchanged on the season. And the same with the Sheffield Giants. They've had 3 games pulled. 3. They've had. This is their 5th fixture today, and they've only played 2 fixtures.
It'll be interesting, just based on people paying their subs, and I'm not out here saying anything about subs or any Baffa related activity.
You can do, mate. I'll do it.
I love Baffa.
I'm not afraid. But no, I do. I think it's a valid point, and I think it's a valid point that is an uncomfortable truth for Baffa that they will avoid, and they have avoided, and they will bury their head in the sand over. But for people to pay for a product, pay for 6, 8 fixtures, and have 3 taken away, and potentially more. Like, we're still there's still plenty of time, right? Like, we're still having teams pull out of games, walkovers being awarded and stuff. I think, and I know that there was a reduction in membership fees this year by I think 20%, 25% or something like that. But I don't think it cuts it. I think the plan that they had for a season hasn't panned out. Not from anything that they've done. I don't think the mismatching was a good idea, but fine. I don't think the fact that they allowed teams to just pull out of a game with no penalties was a good idea, but fine. There's also been coronavirus that's picked up and actually ruined things, right? So why try and persevere with this fucking season? Sorry to swear, but why try and persevere with it? Like, and get blood out of stone, try and squeeze the life out of something when it's just not there. I just find it really disheartening. And I know, well, I say why. We know why. Why is because they want to keep your money. They want to keep the subs because they have to pay their CEO, who works 3 days a week.
I think it's interesting that like there has been a few. Don't get me wrong, that people haven't looked at some more of their games and went, let's switch it to a controlled scrimmage. There's not much really on the line apart from experience, and it's people wanting that game day experience. Like people, no, they don't live for it. They love the game day experience, and as far as I'm concerned, that's more power to him. Like, could it have been done? Could this have been done better? Of course, it could have done. It's Baffa, and I love you, Baffa. Don't delete my membership. I generally get worried, but that one day,
the stuff you say on here, they'll get mate. Imagine that. Imagine if they said like, because on a live stream you badmouth me, you can't be a member anymore.
Mate. Would it surprise you? Would it surprise you?
Yeah, of course. What are they like? What? So no one can hold them accountable to anything? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, nah, fuck that. Like, I this season I've been quite. I would say I've said more critical stuff than supportive stuff of them, but I also say I've never changed the way that I've approached them. I think I've always been fair. Like when they do good stuff, man, I love it. I want it to happen. I want the sport to prosper, and I just think that Baffa at the moment are the worst thing that we've ever had. Like, they're the worst. It's the worst structure we've ever had. Well, the structure's all right. Like the roles and everything seems all right. The people, they don't know what they're doing. It's a mess, and they're making terrible decisions that are, putting money first and the sport second. So and all the time that's happening, I'll call it out. But and then I know it will change at some point. Things are going to get better, right? Like I said, like next season will be better, and things will improve. I'm confident of that. Like I think these people are in the positions. I think they care. I think they want to do the right thing to an extent. I don't think it's a futile situation, but I do think it's the worst it's ever been. And yeah, I like to think that I'll call things as I see them. And until I see it improving, I'm not going to call it as good. Right,
so
the Knights. Sorry, go on. I was just going to say the Knights have sent me another update. We are scoring TD 6 points either way as usual. Safety. Right. They're telling me how they're not even scoring the game properly. They're gonna give the D 3 points if they get a 3 and out.
That's how it should be played.
Yeah. Right, hold on. Let me just do some score updates and then we can.
Go on.
So I don't know if we've done this one already, but Essex 0, Selfie Squadron 0 at the end of Q1. £2 in the sweet jar, Chris. But, I don't know. Rams recover a block punt at the end of Q1. Well done. To them, the Cats are 13-0 up.
Grow up.
They scored a TD. Then we've got the Raptors are 6-0 up against the Wyverns at the end of Q1. Oh, I didn't see that, but fair play. Swear jar for mentioning Baffa, yeah. That's all right. That's Mikey does that. I need to do that, actually. He asked me for some.
What, have a baffer jar?
Yeah, Baffer jar, because Mikey said he was fed out of everyone saying it last week.
Well, this is where I'm talking about. Like, you can offer, like, not to make you sound old, historical perspective. Because obviously, like, first year of playing senior ball, I'm sort of like, I only hear like secondhand accounts of their incompetence. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, and I think, do you know what? And I also think that experience that I've had of playing. I mean, I played since I was 11, right? But like I've been around the game most of my life and being involved in it, and being involved in the UK and Europe and the USA. Like I've done quite a lot. I've seen quite a lot, and like I don't just accept the status quo and the way things are. Like for me, the best way to improve the British leagues is to stop BAFA running them. So BAFA needs to be the MGB. Like so like just like the FA, they run the National League, they define the rules, they do the disciplinary stuff. You still pay them a membership fee, but it's probably not as much because there's no insurance involved. But like, that's what they do. Like they govern, they evangelise, they advocate. Like they work with the other NGBs and Sport England, which they're not doing at the moment. Like that's what BAFA should be doing, and driving money and attention and everything to the sport. And someone else, another entity, should be running the leagues. There should be like a British League organisation, and there could be multiple. There has been in the past multiple. And there is for flag. There's different flag leagues that BAFA don't run. So, I think that whole thing, because most of the problems that people talk about with BAFA are to do with the running of the leagues. Take it away from them. Let them focus on driving the sport and the right things for the sport, governance-wise, and then let someone else deal with disciplinaries and like fixtures and people deciding to pull out of games and all that sort of stuff, and eligibility for entering the league and all that. Like that for me is how you fix Britball. And obviously you can then argue about the structure within that and all that, which is fine. Like the whole 11 aside, 8 aside, whatever. But it should all be away from BAFA. It should be a separate entity that run it, in my opinion.
Again, it's interesting to hear you say that because
people don't think about it, do they?
I wouldn't even know how to. I can't say I do. It's sort of like, BAFA are just sort of like a mysterious entity that takes money out of my account. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's and that, like I said, like that's a problem. Like it's this ivory tower approach. Like there's really a real lack of communication and a lack of connection to the people that are paying the money. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I know there's a different way, and I challenge it. Like that's how I see it. Like I said, I think the best thing that could happen, and it won't. Like, by the way, it won't happen. But the best thing that could happen would be that BAFA separate themselves from the running of the leagues. And they focus on running the sport. Anyway, right, let's see what else there is. We've got a couple of scores come in. I'll get off my pedestal, my soapbox. Stuart again, cheers, mate. Raptors 6, Wyverns 6. So this game's close. This is a good one. So the Wyverns pull it back there and even up the scoreline. You're going to hate this one, but one I'm just seeing over here. The Rams are 24-0 up. In their game, who are they playing? I forgot who the Rams are playing, which is killing me.
I'm waiting for it to come across the ticker screen, to be
I'll
honest.
get it up on the screen down here. Embarrassing. The Raiders, Nottingham Raiders, sorry. So, yeah, they're 24-0 up against the Raiders. Thanks for that, Andy. And then Steve Playford said the PAT was no good. Cheers, Jimmy. There's always someone there that'll help you out when you're not sure. Or two people. Thank you, guys. And there is a score update of the Cats game.
Yeah, go on then.
You ready, mate?
Yep.
Q2, pick 6. Number 18, Kieran Locke, extra point. Number 47, Mark Finbow. Cats 20, Eagles 0. Hey! Donny have evened up the score. This is amazing. So, the Doncaster Mustangs went 7-0 down against the Sheffield Giants. And against all odds, they've evened the score up. So good for them. I'm assuming we're still early in the game there, right? So Q1, potentially Q2, but there you go. And Steve's just put the Cats score up, so thank you, mate. 20-0 to them at the moment. So just from Donny with an update here, said Taylor Umland hits John Green with a 35-yard pass and the Mustangs are level. Score 7-7.
Nice.
Essex Spartans are first and goal at the moment, and it's 0-0 there in their game. They are playing the South East Squadron, if I am not mistaken. Yes. Still no score from the London Hornets Wembley game. It'd be good to get one of those if anyone out there's got one. Let me just do a refresh and see if James has put any more in. Let's do a quick rundown of the scores. So, the East Kilbride versus Inverclyde Goliaths doesn't kick off till 4 p.m. The Hunters and Black Hawks has kicked off, but we don't know the score there. The Highland Stags and Dunfermline, again, we don't know the score. Gateshead are now 12-0 up. That's just popped up down here from Stuart, so thanks, Stu. So the Gateshead are 12-0 up against the DC Presidents. The Chester Romans are almost level with the Merseyside Nighthawks, 13-14, which is amazing. The Yorkshire Rams, we've got 24-0, but I think it's 20-0. 24-0. Sorry, 24-0. They're winning there. The Sheffield Giants and the Doncaster Mustangs, as we just heard, was 7-all. The Scunthorpe Alphas were awarded a 1-0 walkover against the South Links Lightning. The Tamworth Phoenix, the last update, we've got 28-0 over the Shropshire Revolution. The Surge versus the Crewe Railroaders, we don't have a score for. Ouse Valley Eagles versus the Cambridgeshire Cats, the Cats are 20-0 up. South Wales Warriors are 6-0 up over the Swindon Storm. Bristol were awarded a 1-0 walkover last week for the against the Worcestershire Black Knights. The Jurassic Coast Raptors and the Somerset Wyverns are currently tied at 6-all. Rushmore Knights and the Sussex Thunder game was cancelled. The Essex Spartans and the South East Squadron still 0-0, but we're probably close to a score there with the drive that's on for Essex. They're first and goal, or they were. London Hornets and Wembley Stallions, we've got no score for. The Solent Thrashers are beating the London Olympians 16-0. And we've got no score for Leicester versus Manchester, the Leicester Falcons and Manchester Titans. So that's everything. Everyone's up to date there, I think. Yeah, cool.
See, it's just like even with stuff like this show, like I like paying attention to the teams that I got no clue about. Like like if they did a Hard Knocks on the Nottingham Raiders, I'm there. I'm there.
What's it? Kick return for a TD. Giants lead by 14-7 now. So the Giants pull back in front against Doncaster, sorry. And the Farnham Knights have messaged me saying end of the first quarter of their special game, it's 0-0. So
nice.
All to play for there. But yeah. But yeah, it'd be good to get guys if you're out there and you can get scores for any of these games. Please let us know any of these ones that we yet to get. Be massively appreciated. It all comes out in the wash. We do get all the scores in the end, but it's just nice to get them nice and fresh. The Spartans have scored but failed their 2-point attempt. So the Essex Spartans are 6-0 up against the South East Squadron. Thanks, Stu. Stu's been updating us on like 3 or 4 games consistently. What a legend. Thank you. So
Get him
right,
in the call, mate.
hey,
Get him in the call. Get him in the call.
no, I don't want to throw him off. He's on fire. Right, hold on. Let me just pull this up. Stu's coming for my job. That's from James. Hey, the more the merrier. Makes it easier. The more people we get. What's with all the 2-point attempts today? Yeah, none very good. Yeah. I think it's an interesting one. I think you're playing the numbers game there, aren't you? By going for 2 and sort of saying, on average, on average, we should score more points by going for 2 every time. But yeah, not happening today. That's all right, mate. I think it's a very noble thing that you're doing, giving blood, mate. So we'll allow it.
We'll give you the time off to go.
Yeah. Just make sure you fill in the appropriate paperwork. But yeah, it's absolutely fine. Yeah, one thing. I've got a couple of things I wanted to sort of share on the stream, and I want to. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Chris. So it'll be quite good to see the your reaction. Let me just get it open. So this was shared. We shared it on Gridiron Hub this week, and it was also subject to a discussion yesterday on last night's Britball with the Breens show, and it actually won Play of the Week.
I did actually watch this, but I'm not aware of the discussion. So
yeah, well, so this is the Poole Dolphins under 16s, and I think this lad's name's John Mayer. Let me double check.
Good name,
John
Poole
Mesher.
Dolphins.
John Mesher. Sorry, John. I mean, in the description, I called him like a one-man wrecking crew. But I think there's so much to this play that I remember watching it the first time and I was like, oh my god. But I'll just let it play first and then we can talk about it, right? So just watching, he's the nose guard here. This is John.
Nice. Nice.
And I know we haven't got the sound on it, but everyone's going nuts, right? But he's got 4 players in front of him. Obviously, I know he's only looking at the centre, but there's a lot going on around him. He spies the ball, he jumps the route and gets his hand on it. I know it's sort of like a bit of a half catch by both of them, but then he just keeps going, strips it. And you think, oh, that's good. And then look at the effort here, man. There's a man that does not want to go down. I love it. I absolutely love it from a young player to see that, to execute. Just a pick is great, right? But he had to then wrestle for it, and then he was like, no, I'm going. And I don't know if the Dolphins scored off of that. You'd think in that position they would have done, right?
Yeah, you don't.
Just what a play, man, and a great tackle by number 21, the lad there.
There's nothing like when you see someone's feet kicking up off the ground while they've got you around the waist. It's impressive. It's just an impressive spectacle to watch.
Yeah, and this is, I love it. I love watching young players get stuck into it and get hyped by the game, and they've got big ambitions, and they want to go and play in Div 1, Div 2 colleges and all that sort of stuff. I love the passion that these lads have, but this play, this actual gameplay is fantastic. To do what he's done there is just unbelievable, and he did actually win the Play of the Week, or whatever it's called. They call it Cool Breens, but yeah, I just thought I wanted to give it a little bit of airtime and show people, because there may be some people out there that hadn't seen it, and I love it. I probably will watch that a few more times this week.
Send it to the colleges now, mate. That's all I can say. Get in early. Get in early.
Right, Rams are really pulling ahead now. So So I don't know what it's still before half time, isn't it? There, so they're 31-0 up against Nottingham, and your Eagles aren't doing too well against the Cats, mate. The Cats are running riot now, so another
Well,
pick
I tell you what,
six.
if it's a QB with like dyed blonde hair, he knows who he is, and he owes me a BLT, and this is penance for him owing me a sandwich.
Right. It's interesting.
That's what it is.
Right, there's been a safety. The Spartans get 2 points, goes 8-0 up against South East Squadron. I think I'd like this. I'd like the Squadron to score a touchdown today. I think they won a game. I'm pretty sure they beat the Thunderbolts the other week, maybe even be last week. But
they're a fairly new side, aren't they? Because I know
do you know what, mate? I think it's a bit weird how it happened. But essentially, right, what's happened is the Hastings Conquerors are the Sussex Thunderbolts, and the South East Squadron were the Maidstone Pumas. And basically, what they did was they merged those teams together. They merged the South East Squadron and the Pumas, but they said the Pumas folded. But then the South East Squadron got to have a senior team without an associate process.
Okay, it's because I think I've got another Lincoln Colonials alum who's playing for them, and he was like, yeah, they're new. It's the same with South Links Lightning, because I swear they came about fairly quick as well. But I could be wrong.
They come out of nowhere, mate. Yeah, and
okay.
It's funny. It felt like it was a bit slapdash with them, as opposed to like if you look at like the Alphas and the Knights, the Northants Knights, like those teams sort of went through the proper process and I think both got accepted in the end. And it just feels a far cry away from that level of rigmarole to get a team in the league this year, and it just feels wrong. Like South Links felt like they'd just sort of come out of nowhere about 3 weeks before the fixtures were announced. I remember we gave them some money from the Amelie Fund for some equipment. I'm pretty sure they had like 10 balls or something like that. Nice guys. Like obviously we're speaking to them and like wish them well, but at the same time, like I also want standards to be high. I don't know. A good level, like it should. We need to have reasonable standards in the sport for people to be included in it. And I just think, especially with what they've done this week during what is an associate year for them, doesn't bode well for them.
No, I read the whole thing. The Alphas put out.
Yeah, that was very, like, I suppose, cleverly worded. They sort of insulted them as much as sort of forgave them. It was it was a good post, but but I can see the frustration, man. Like it particularly from them, because they lost to them the week before and felt hard done by. They wanted to get their revenge game, and it was taken away from them with the same number of players that they had. That's what they were saying. DC President 0, Gateshead now 20. I've got a feeling that DC might call that one early as well, because they called one early. They've already called one early this year. We'll see. South Wales Warriors look like they're 12-0 up. I don't know if we've got that, but I can see it on score stream.
I'm just waiting for that good news, field goal from Ouse Valley, 20-something to 3. That's what and it's going to go. Full Falcons Patriots, be 28-3, bam, second half.
It's half time.
I can feel it.
Half time at the Thrashers Olympians game, 16-0 to the Thrashers.
Steve, I've got a Ted bet tip for you in terms of NFL betting. That's called Don't Bet on the Preseason. I've already lost too much money on preseason football. I was.
I never
was
bet
too
on
in for it.
pre-season. Never bet on pre-season. Did you get too excited?
No, that's what I've learned. Yeah. As you know, it got to. I saw a ball being snapped. I was like, "Give me some of that
Yeah.
action." There was.
What do you give us your rundown of
I think there was
give us your rundown
there was-
of your NFL this year? What do you think are going to be like from a betting perspective? What do you think are going to be good?
I think
season long bets. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think the this year I think the Bills have got the tools. I think they've put their faith in Josh Allen. He knows that now with this big contract extension. I think
and FA Obada.
Huh?
Yeah, and they put their faith in FA.
Come on, give me some more British ball. Give me some more British ball. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's like the Bills have sort of got everything lock, stock, and barrel. You know, injuries notwithstanding, because obviously I can't predict this. I think it's going to be tight at the top of the AFC. I think the Browns to win the AFC North is good. I think the better on that now. I don't think that. I don't really rate the Steelers very highly this year. They could be good. I just don't like them. Don't like Minka Fitzpatrick. That's it. For no reason. That's it. It's for the NFC. It's a lot harder. Last year I genuinely thought the Rams had it. I thought the Buccaneers weren't consistent enough for my taste to put on bets. Look how wrong I was. It's very strange. I don't think the Seahawks are going to go very far this year. The AFC is so much easier to call. I'd say like Cardinals to make the playoffs. Cardinals to make the playoffs. I think it's a fairly easy one to make. And I would say Dolphins to make the playoffs, but don't throw picks in the end zone to right. Let me get one thing perfectly clear. Chicago commentating squad. I had to sit through yesterday. There was one commentator who kept calling him Tagovailoa. I was ready to hop on the flight. I was ready to go down there, throw hands with this announcer. I don't care if he's won a Super Bowl. It's not Viola. For God's sake, I was so angry. But yeah, that's what I'd say is that obviously the Chiefs make the playoffs is a fairly sound one. But in terms of what I'm doing, I think it's the Bills' year. I think the Ravens Super Bowl window is slowly shutting. But obviously, they've got a new wide receiver coach after having a very poor wide receiving rate last year, but then obviously their wide receivers coach is now the head coach of the Texans. So, it's interesting. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm putting my faith and my money into Josh Allen to go to lead the Bills to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
that's my big one. I'll push that every week until they lose to the Lions or something.
Right, some score updates. So DC Presidents 0, Gateshead Senators 20. The Cats and OVE 26-0 at half time. Crew, this is our first Crew Surge update, and it's 0-0 at half time. So Crew hanging on, and the Surge not able to break them down. So that's awesome to see. And just another confirmation. Cheers, Jack. That it's 26-0 at the Cats Eagles.
All right, Steve, mate, you don't have to keep saying it.
I was just reading out the comments.
Okay, Steve, yeah, cool, Steve,
and
yeah.
the Knight, I've also had a Knights update. The Knights O are now 6-0 up against the Knights D.
Oh.
But nothing on any other games, so I'd like to see some score lines. I'd like to know how the Titans and Falcons are going, actually. I
want to hear if the Donny Mustangs have put any more points on the board.
So we've got second quarter, and the Nighthawks have pulled ahead again. Well, they're already ahead, but they've extended their lead. Still a one-score game, but 13-21 to them now. And Grant's just confirmed the Cats are winning 26-0 against the Eagles at half-time.
Yeah, radical, cool, yeah, radical.
You gotta watch it, mate. Whatever you say, the people jump on you.
Yeah, someone will say it. It's fine.
Yeah, we need to move over to the studio view for this, for the broadcast at some point, because I paid for a virtual studio. I want to use it.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure whether to put the old green screen up that is...
Yeah, no, you don't need to for this one. But the other one we do, yeah. But it's just... we couldn't get it to work, and then like, I was in hospital, and then I just haven't got around to doing it. I need to get the guy to like test it all out with me. But,
yeah, but you were like deep. You like it was deep. You had the full Darth Vader gimmick going on.
Oh mate, I was in bits. I'm still bad now. Like I went for my first walk outside Friday, just with my kids to the park up here and back, and then the next like that evening or that afternoon I slept for 4 hours, and then the next day I slept in the day as well. Like it absolutely knocked me out. So yeah, it's just slow road to recovery, mate. I want to know if the US imports are going to play next week. Who are they next week? This is obviously Leicester. I don't know who they're playing. Let's have a little look. Half time at Solent 60. No, we knew that. The Rams, thank you, Andy, are now 37-0 up over the Raiders. Sheffield extend their lead, 21-7 over Doncaster. That's probably it for the scoring for Doncaster today, isn't it?
I wanted some hope. I wanted to roast. I wanted to roast Maris in the group chat later, but no, alas.
Must be Steelers. I don't know what that's referring to.
Could be me.
Sorry, no.
Giving grief to the Steelers.
No, it's who
Sandwell. Leicester Falcons have got.
No, Leicester. Yeah, who are Leicester playing next week? Let me have a look. Samuel Leicester probably live stream. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Cheers, Stu. I'm pretty sure that all of Leicester's home games are streamed this year. Bless you, mate.
Thank you.
I don't actually have that in our schedule. I need to maybe edit that. Oh, this one is at Samwell. Okay. Oh, I know why I don't have it in the schedule, because I've clicked on the wrong bloody league. It's Mercia, isn't it, that I need? Yeah. I hate the fact that they changed all the division names this year, because I just still haven't learnt them. I don't know who's in what.
Mate, I was getting roasted because the northern ones, White Rose, and like they sound cool, and then it's like East Anglia. Like no, if you're gonna give cool names, give cool names
for that.
Yeah, well, mate, it's Britball. You can get roasted for anything.
Yeah, no. They changed some of the names. Like it's funny because they initially released the names, and they had Scotland 1, Scotland 2. They had Wessex. They changed those, and then they changed Wessex to South, and then they changed it back from South to Wessex. Never communicated anything. Nothing. I don't get it.
Don't you dare! You can't be mugging them off even more. All right, you've mugged them off enough today.
Well, it's just another example of terrible communication. 6-0 at half time for the Knights versus the Knights. Just to let everyone know.
Keep that on the board at all times. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. That's what you need.
Just on the ticker at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only game.
This is the Northant Nights stream. We're only going to talk about.
It's not Northants Nights. It's the Rushmore Nights.
Who's Northants then? Am I an idiot?
Northants are also called the Knights.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as I'm not a.
And then there's the
complete idiot.
There's the Black Knights as well. Worcestershire Black Knights.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want people shouting at me for getting their team names wrong.
Yeah, they will. If you get anything wrong, people will pick you up on it.
I want some Shropshire Rev details. I want to know what.
The Romans and the Nighthawks. He hasn't put it up yet. James. Oh, it looks like he's away. I'm going to put it up. There's been a score update. So the last update we had was 21-13 to the Nighthawks. It's now 21-all.
Nice.
That is awesome. What a game. What a game.
I do want to see this. I want to see what the Shropshire Rev are doing against Tamworth. You know, is again, I've got some friends or friend who plays for the Rev, and they seem to be doing fairly well. So, you know,
well, the last update we've got, mate, I think it's 28-0.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if there's any advance on that. It looks like it's been taken off of ScoreStream.
Oh, nice.
Every time oddly, I don't know that teams do that, but when I refresh it, it's not showing them. And it was.
Where is it?
But yeah, another. There's been another safety for the Spartans, so they're 10-0 up against the Southeast Squadron. Sounds like their special teams are doing well. They're able to keep pinning them back and score safeties. Although their offense need to kick into gear, I'd say.
It's a shame there's no more East Anglia games this week.
Why?
It was just because it's interesting to watch. Watch how it goes, because, like, you know, especially with Colchester. You know, obviously, like, I remember when Brit with the Breens, they ranked Dewsbury Valley Eagles second in the league. I was like, yeah, and then, you know, what's happened has happened. It's. I think Colchester Cats 2, if they've not already played it twice, I don't think they have. It's a very interesting game. Same with Norwich, you know, because, you know, it's like basically like the whole season is based on, you know, if you can beat the Cats, well, your season's made at that point.
Do you think that Ouse Valley are going to win a game this year?
Yes, I do.
And who against?
I think if we have a full strength team, which obviously, you know, that's you know, I might as well be looking at flying pigs in terms of this particular year. I think the game, not next week, the week after, Norwich at home, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think the last game of the season, Colchester away, I think it's going to be very interesting. You know, again, we've put ourselves in positions to win games, but we've simply just not capitalised on it. But then I'm sure a lot of teams feel that exact same way. So, you know, what's the old adage? I forgot what coach said it. You know, you have to learn how to win. If that makes sense, you have to, instead of just being able to, you've got to learn how to, and that's the problem. We need to learn how to win. We need, so if you can teach me how to win, you know, that's it. Is that, would I be gracious in victory? Who knows? Who knows? Would I then put on a suit and Super Bowl rings for the next game and wear the cowboy hat? I need to get a new cowboy hat, by the way. Gatorade. Soaked through it.
Well,
you have no idea.
I've got a score update from the Titans Falcons.
Oh, go on.
So the Titans are 6-2 up in quarter one, but Soph, who sent it in, has said the officials are here, so I'm guessing it's not a scrimmage anymore. Yeah, so I think it is a friendly. I just think people don't know what the word scrimmage means in Britball.
What is a controlled scrimmage to you?
A controlled scrimmage is so you can have officials at a controlled scrimmage, but it's like you have a set plan of play. So, for instance, you will have both teams doing 8 kickoffs each, one after the other. Then the offense of one team will start at the 50-yard line and have 10 plays. Then at the 30-yard line and have 10 plays. And they may count the drive, you know, so if they get a first down, then they drive down the field with it. But they could score 10 touchdowns and they just go back to that same line of scrimmage and go again, right? And then it's situational. So you'll test your punts and your field goals and you as the opponents, you're not necessarily that accommodating. But you sometimes there's an agreement that you play a certain formation. Do you know what I mean? Like so it's like, oh, I don't know, can you go into a 4-2 or can you go into a 6-man front on this? Or so it's still competitive, like both teams against each other wanting to win, but it's not the game. It's not to the rules of the game in terms of gameplay. It's just structured practice, and like I said, usually there's officials, but obviously not like 5. There's like 1 or 2, and that's it. 3. Yeah. I don't know why people don't know this.
No, because I didn't.
I said it last week, and I think I said it the week before. But yeah, and a friendly is a full-blown game, full officials, nothing. It's exactly the same as a game, but it doesn't count. The result doesn't count in a league.
See, because I was like, as far as I was concerned, like it's controlled scrimmage. I was like, it's a game, but you don't hit the QB. That is all of the facts. That's all the facts that I knew. I was like, okay, that makes.
Controlled scrimmage is like it's like an upgrade. It's like you can practice with another team. And it's like an upgrade from that. You know, you're sort of practicing with a team, but it's a bit more situational, a bit similar to a game, but it's not like a free flowing thing. Like coaches will jump in after a play and be like, "No, this is what I want you to do." You know, like it's a coaching exercise as well. You know, it's not like you've got like, I don't know, a game clock to worry about or anything. It's just making sure that people get reps in and you try out different situational things. So. Yeah, so I feel that when people are saying controlled scrimmage this year, they are incorrectly labelling a friendly.
See, I definitely have done that. I definitely have done that. So it's there you go. You learn stuff here at Gameday Live. So okay, in that case, do you know? Because I know there was a
Cats OVE.
Yeah, cool, yeah.
Do you want to just say what that score is, mate?
No, well, mate.
I think it's 26-0 still. I don't think they've even started the third quarter, but you're just winding you up. It's funny, though.
What is it? Mate. So, is there going to be And what in what level is it a friendly? Or is it a controlled scrimmage for Titans versus Giants if it's happening?
Is there going to be one?
I remember seeing something nice. Has I remember seeing something about a Titans versus Giants game, and I was like,
Yeah, that was when a couple of weeks ago, 18 pulled out of a game.
yeah,
The Wolverines pulled out of a game with the Titans. The Nottingham Caesars had their opponents pull out, who I can't remember who it was, and they then agreed to play, but then also Sheffield got let down, and so they're all sort of like vying to play each other, but it was already organised.
no.
But there's not been I don't think Manchester have got enough in their schedule to play another sort of cross divisional fixture.
That's it. Because when I saw that, I was like, you know, that is a game that I would sit. If it was being broadcast, I'd sit down and probably watch that. That appeals. That appeals to me.
Yeah. So latest score update: Spartans 18, Southeast Squadron 0. Spartans starting to pull away with that now. That probably is an offensive score, offensive TD, which is good for them. The last couple of scores were safeties, weren't they? So good for them to get on the board, get their offense going.
I'll tell you what, watered down squash is not the move for Game Day Live.
But yet you continue to drink it.
Yeah, I do. So watered down, unbelievable. Not enough squash in the house.
Right, is there anything else? No, I've got no more updates. Slow results coming in today. Right, let me just check. I haven't checked Twitter for a while, have I? I should have done. Okay, so Taylor Umland gets the Mustangs back in it with a 15-yard dart to Spencer Wybrow. Great drive featuring a good run from Tom Noon. Quarter 2 and the Giants lead 21-14.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. I thought Donny were done. I thought Donny were done. I didn't pray for Donny. The Warriors.
They urge you, mate. They got you on the halftime. They got you at the halftime show. Steve not believing.
Yeah. Played it to everyone. So not Yorkshire are 37-0 up against the Raiders at half time. South Wales Warriors 12-0 up against the Swindon Storm. And that's half time. Just on that Essex Spartans, TD Steve Cox 15-yard pass. Spartans 2-point attempt is good. Squadron nil out the half. So it's Spartans 18 and the Squadron's nil at half time. I think that kick gets us up to date. Yeah. Good updates from everyone on Twitter. Sorry, I forgot about it.
It's interesting to when it's a Monday and you see everyone that's all coming in, just the range of either how high or how low they can be, and I think that's definitely something that people just don't realise about Britball. It's Britball is good because it's the strange thing for me is you talk to people who've been around the sport for so many years, probably about 30 years, and just remember back in the 80s. And they're like, yeah, people used to come and watch back in the 80s, and I don't really know anything else that's people say it, and then it's so, the popularity just hasn't even leveled out. It's just gone down.
Yeah. So the thing that my brother did a load of looking into this, right, as part of pulling loads of data together for Gridiron Hub. So Gridiron Hub has got a massive database, really sophisticated database that we're about to sort of flex a bit and show people what we can do with it. But essentially it's archiving the entire Britball, everything, not just results, but footage, game reports, squads, programs if people want to scan them in. Like it's going to be quite like a proper.
That's
yeah,
cool.
really, yeah, and my brother was really involved in like, you know, he spent hours pulling all this stuff together, and putting it into a data format that we can then use in a database. And it was quite interesting talking to him about it because he had insight that I didn't, and I hear the same stuff all the time. I've been around the game a while. You hear, like you say, the older people say stuff, but he said essentially, you know, and it's funny because it's like history repeats itself, and it's something that I, with Gridiron Hub, typically try and stand against, and it's that everyone just tried to line their own pockets, and that's where it all fell short, and everyone was going for short-term success, and that's where it all fell short. He said essentially what was happening is, money was being pumped into the game, but it was being taken out of the game by by people that didn't care about it, that just wanted to make off with some money, and so like there were like players, they were paying players to come over, and they were paying players domestically, and like come over from Europe but also from the States obviously, and there's no sustainability in that, right? Like that's just money going into a pit, and well, unless those people that come over help develop the youth teams and the kids and bring them on, which is something I've seen a little bit of in the early 2000s.
You're more likely to get success if you bring over a coach.
Yes, and that's the problem, Teb, is people don't think coach. They think I need a quarterback, I need a skill player, and actually it's detrimental to the team long term. I've been at clubs that have bought imports in and paid them, and you win games and stuff, but actually you're stitching up, you're messing with your depth chart and you're stitching players up, and getting them out of game time, but also some of them may even leave the team because they're like, well, what's the point, so I think unless it is sustainable, and there's a longer term benefit added to it, then the money shouldn't be spent on a player. It should. There's so many other things that money should be spent on. But yeah, basically what my brother said was, like, he said like Budweiser and Domino's and some other big like US companies were putting loads of money into. Coca-Cola was another one. And they all had in Britball, and they all had different leagues. And they were paying, and they had thousands of fans, like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 fans paying to be there. So earning off of that, and clubs were going bankrupt and folding. And leagues entire leagues were folding. It was like, so there was no governance to it. And one thing that you can absolutely say that our modern game has is governance, is structure. It's not the Wild West. I like I said, I do subscribe to the fact that BAFA shouldn't be running the leagues, but I do think an entity should, and I do think it should be run properly, right? But it was essentially like people all rode the wave at the same time in terms of its popularity because people were watching it on TV. Channel 4, and I still hear it now. People say Channel 4. That's what got me into it, and so there was this huge interest in it, and there was obviously like your Div 1, your Div 2, like there was obviously terrible teams back then, but at the upper end of the sport there was actually some very, very good athletes that were playing and some very, very good players, and yeah, like there are some success stories. Like there were a number of British players that went on and played in the World Leagues, in the World League, and even in the NFL, in the NFL Europe. But in my time, in terms of like what was the big thing that impacted everything was the recession, because that folded the NFL Europe, and all of the guys that were prospects in the US at the time, and a couple I knew because I played with them. Like there was a guy at Green Bay, a guy at Miami. That the fans were getting excited about because they see them on the practice squad and stuff. And they turned it into a national issue. So they wanted to only. It was like in America, it was like buy American, employ American, and they only wanted to have American players. So all of the imports got sent home. And now with the international pathway, they're now starting to open up again and reintroduce those players, and it's giving players hope. You've got the NFL Academy that is a real viable thing that is connecting it. So these routes and these avenues are starting to open up again. But the problem is that we've got such a poor domestic product that as soon as anyone's any good, the best thing they can do is leave the UK and go and play somewhere else.
See, like that is like not that all, but like the fact that I didn't even know that like there was big sponsors, like things that sponsor, the NFL now were in England. I never knew how big it was. Like, especially if you're saying brothers compiling a list of things. Like, I remember some guy who was talking to me about like there was this huge game and there was about 4,000 people there for a domestic, and I was like, no, there wasn't. You're a liar. But like,
yeah, we've got attendances. We've got attendances. We've got images of these So my uncle, this is years ago, right? Like this in the 90s. This was my uncle Pete. He played for the Southern Scorpions, right? Southampton team. He's a powerlifter. He's a world champion powerlifter. The guy was a monster, right? So he used to do like strongman competitions and stuff that you see on telly. He played, and I remember going to watch a game with him, and I was on his sideline, and I remember there being loads of Americans, and I remember it was at a sports centre, and I don't know what it was because I was a kid, right? But it was at a sports centre that had a stand with and a field with a track around it, like a normal like sporting, and the stand was packed, and there were loads of people. Like there must, and it's hard for me to recall, but because I was probably about 8 or 9. But there must have been about 3,500 people there, easily. And this wasn't I don't think the Scorpions were a particularly good team, like a particularly successful or anything. I'm pretty sure they lost on the day that I saw them. But yeah, so I've got this very vague memory of that popularity, but I hear stories of, and I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures of like, I think Crystal Palace was replaced, and it was like rammed in one of the stands there. I don't know. I just want to. We've had some comments, obviously. Yes. Obviously, spark something. Let's have a quick look. So the Titans 13-2 up. The Giants pull ahead 27-14. Yeah. No, you got. Nick Williams has said, I remember going to watch the London Ravens versus the Birmingham Bulls. Those two were like the two top teams, right, in the 80s in Richmond, and they had approximately 3,000 fans. When Victor X was playing for the Ravens and Trevor Carthy for the Bulls, Victor was like a superstar.
Like how sort of young and I am. I have this. I might get kicked off gridiron. I've never heard of London Ravens.
Yeah, so probably the most successful team consecutively in British history. The London O's may push them on that. I don't know, but they went something like 8 years undefeated, like wouldn't get scored against. But they were paid so. Joe St. Louis and Victor X were the two running backs. Victor Mohammed, Victor X, I think he gets called now. Victor was the tailback. Joe was the fullback, from what I understand. I played with Joe at the Farnham Knights years later, and he used to tell me about it, and I'd be like, oh my god, like he was like a celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he'd tell me about like how they lived, it was like they took it so seriously, and it was like the most important thing ever. And he took his football so seriously, like in training. Like if you didn't if he got the ball and he come around because he was playing running back, if he got the ball and ran round on like a sweep and you didn't hit him properly, he'd have a go at you. Like he was like, what, like you only get to tackle someone 6 times the training session. do it properly, you know, like he
Yeah.
took it all, and like he was probably in his like late 30s, early 40s at the time, but still just like got this mentality of like a winner. I loved playing with him, but I read his name coming up on, you know, like when people talk about the Ravens or talk about the old days, he's always in the mix in that conversation, and just an amazing player, amazing competitor, and a lovely guy. But yeah, like I've heard firsthand from him, like what it was, like what it meant to them, and and it was just a different level. And there's always these arguments like, oh, could the best of then beat the best of now in Britball? And I actually think it's hard to compare because of the different eras, but the level was definitely higher back then because people were being paid.
Like I just googled a picture, or like London Ravens football. Just googled it.
There you
And,
go.
No, it's true. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel
It's good. It's good to give you this sort of give you this information, man.
It's genuinely interesting, but I genuinely haven't. You know, obviously, like you hear of the Blitz, the Olympians, the Warriors. Like, I just googled a picture, and like, there's no like, there might be 2 seats that are
I'm gonna have a look myself.
Like
Yeah,
obviously,
you're looking at a picture in the crowd.
Yeah, like obviously, like the golf is so large now. Like I can't even comprehend something like that.
Yeah, I'm just looking as well. Just people just in the stands all stood next to each other. Leicester Panthers, they were another big team. Let me just get it up, just show people. You can see there, guys. This one in particular, that picture there reminds me of what I saw when I went to my game. But it was a nice sunny day. But yeah, this is just me putting in London Ravens. But Joe was. I wonder if I put in Joe St. Louis, if he comes up.
Oh wow! What I've just looked at the one you put the Luton Flyers and the London Ravens.
Yeah.
All those people.
Mad, isn't it?
I really don't know my 1980s Britball apparently, or at all. But it's
man. But yeah, so it was
that's interesting.
So you know, and this is, oh my god, hold on. I'm just gonna go and do some updates, and then we'll get back to our chat, mate.
Sorry, people. I got Steve off on a tangent there. It's very interesting.
It's all good. I'll talk about it all day. I love it. Officials at the Titans game appeared to be a full game, but not sure if it was ever confirmed. Yeah, we're not sure yet. We were waiting on the Titans to tell us. So we're told. I mean, I think we're not calling it a control scrimmage. We'll call it a friendly. But yeah, we don't know. Sean Payton placed here as well. Yeah, Sean Payton. Did you know that Sean Payton was involved? Yeah, he was Leicester. I think he was Leicester Panthers. Yeah.
That's madness, because I forget. I know it was Marshall Lynch. He played for a Scottish team, and I think that's. And there was another guy, Moon, who was the Oilers QB, and I know that he played over.
Warren Moon.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, and then you've had like, well, even in like the NFL Europe, you had like, Debo. He played for the Fire. You had I know
Vinatieri as well. He played for
Vinatieri. You had Terry Crews played for a little bit over there.
Did he? That's right.
Yeah. Before he went to the Redskins. But yeah, like so. There is a good history, right? There's a good pedigree. There's a lot of people out there that played at a very good level. And went on to play in the world, for like the Monarchs or the Claymores in the World Bowl. And then beyond into other teams in Europe or in the States. Like there were definite real pathways that had since closed up. But the cause of all of that, greed, greed and ego, and it's people taking money out of the sport and people flexing their ego and not not sharing information, not helping others out, not trying to do what's good for the sport, but rather what's good for themselves. And like I said, I've seen it in the short time, 15 years or so I've been involved in Britball, and it's just constantly held itself back. And I I sort of advocate against it. You know, like I do my best to call out all the shit that people have done, and when they stitch people up, and I want these people out of the sport. I want it cleaned up, and you know, it's probably the cleanest it's been in a long time. But there's still people out there that have stitched people up, and you know, financially or even tried to hurt them physically. But it's better than it has been. There's a lot of people that that are sort of scarpered away from the sport, which is good. Right. The surge break.
I ask my question. My next question.
Yeah. So the surge break the deadlock. I think they're third quarter, so they're now 7-0 up against the Railroaders. The Squadron have conceded a game. What were they, 10-0?
I don't remember it being particularly awful.
No, but it's probably numbers. Let's just see. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the Squadron. Oh, 18-0 it was. Yeah, really disappointing to see, especially for an associate team. Yeah, so there's a conceded game. Sean Patton was Leicester Panthers. Yeah, thanks for confirming. Darren says, during the 80s and 90s, for us at the Stormbringers Storm, the only ones paid were the Americans. Bringers played the Milton Keynes Bucks in front of around 3,500 at the Bowl. The Milton Keynes Bowl. Kurt Warner was at the Amsterdam Admirals. Cheers, Nick. Paul Breen, this is Sean and Chris Breen's father.
Nice.
The London Ravens play. So he used to play, really involved back in the day. The London Ravens played in the 1988 Euro Bowl and were knocked out the first round, which opened a lot of eyes in Britball. Euro Bowl 1988 was won by the Helsinki Roosters, who had a great American QB called Moke Kane. Oh, cheers for that, Paul. Classic Pumas. With reference to the Squadron pulling out. The Titans are now pulling ahead against the Falcons 21-2. The Knights O versus D. Hold on, let me just get there. They just sent me 12-6. So the O's beating the D 12-6, which is good for them. So yeah, go on then. What was your next one?
It was like, well, what would, obviously, like, it's, you know, quite a broad question. What would you do to like try and get it back to even like a snifter of the level it had before? Like, again, like, you know,
it all comes down to money. So for me, when you pay a CEO to run the sport, if I was the chairman, she's not, it's chair, they changed the title to chair. If I was Nicole, the chair, I'll be saying to that CEO, you're getting paid 50 grand a year for your 3 days a week or whatever it is. You need to, like, your job is cash flow into the sport. That's your job. Like, yeah, there's all this other governance and stuff and all that, and you need to make sure that gets taken care of, but you've got staff and volunteers and directors and everyone else to help you out with that. You need to bring in funding. Like, one, to cover their costs, you know, like as an employee, but two, to push the game forward and offer funding to clubs or whatever. Now, I know they're trying to position themselves in the right way from a governance perspective with Sport England, so that they qualify for more money from Sport England, because they got 40 grand from them from the pandemic, but they never have had regular support from Sport England because they've never been set up in a way that Sport England recognises an NGB. So that's why it was all restructured and everything. And they restructured it twice because they messed it up the first time, which was quite funny. So the bottom line for me is bringing real money into the sport and making sure that money is used in the correct way to promote and generate more activity for the sport. So things like I think there should be a focus on streaming games. I don't think this show should exist. I think people should have a choice of watching like a Red Zone show with all different, and you can just go and watch whatever game's on. I think that would be a worthwhile investment. One, from a sponsorship perspective, because obviously if you get people watching it, then you've got opportunities for sponsorship, and then you could have revenue share with the different clubs that that are on it. But yeah, I think also BAFA need to do more to help clubs run. So advice on business acumen, running social media, that sort of stuff. I think there's not enough given to clubs to understand how to go and find funding. So yeah, I think it's time to focus on money again, and start bringing some sponsors in, and doing what we can do with that cash flow. So I for the life of me, our CEO's been here. The CEO's been here what, year and a half? Why the hell have there not been a major sponsor announced in that time? Like what have you been doing?
For me, it's just interesting. Like it's like the popularity of Britball sort of plateaued. Well, every year on year, you hear the NFL popularity is going up.
Yeah.
Another
thing on that. In the was it 10 years they've been doing these games, roughly?
Yeah.
Do you know how many times BAFA have advertised in the programme of the games?
How many?
0. So now I'm not I'm certainly not saying that if you're an NFL fan you're definitely going to be a Britball fan, right?
No.
They're different levels, right? And you could argue they're not even the same sport to an extent, right? But from an awareness perspective, what are you doing? And even targeted online media campaigns. Why aren't you using your platform, social media platform, to try and target people for recruitment or like I say, sponsorship or whatever? They're just uninspired and don't do enough.
But it's just so strange to hear what it.
Yeah, I wish BAFA would just pay. Yeah, and well, the same with Cheers Mate. If you imagine, you had Cheers Mate are also pretty decent based down in the south. You could have Onside up north and them down south. A couple of games each a weekend. Spread them out so they're back to back, and you could literally just watch games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. There's so much opportunity, but it just doesn't get taken. It's a shame.
It's just weird how it's again, obviously there's going to be a massive gulf between, the NFL and Britball, but it's how the NFL there'll always be a report out, I'm sure it's coming when the games come. England, are we going to move the Jags over? Ooh, are we? Or something like that. But then there's no. But then you look at attendances for even Prem games, and they're not like the 3,500 that someone said were at Flyers or Luton Flyers and the Ravens.
Just do a couple of scores quick. So half time, Chester Romans 21, Nighthawks 21. The O's are on the board. So the O's have scored, but they didn't get their extra point. So it's 16-6 there. So that'll be interesting to see next score there, who gets it. 57-0 to Tamworth. We don't know where that is. I wonder if that's a full-time score.
It's Web, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's getting Dom Sims. You know you are.
Sorry, yeah. So, hold on. And then 27-2 to the Titans at the moment in their game. Yeah, so my point with I think the NFL are only interested in doing anything for the NFL.
Mm.
And so they don't care about the domestic game. And that's fine, because they have done some really good initiatives like the flag initiative in schools, which they, I don't know if you know about it, but you can sign up and the NFL will send like flags and balls, and then they'll train your teachers and teach you how to run flag sessions for your school. Fantastic initiative, right? But the problem is that information isn't being shared with Britball, and so no one knows what's going on where. But if it was, then you could jump into that school and say, we're a local team. If any of your kids want to carry on playing, they can come and play flag here. There's this like linkage between what the NFL are doing and what. Well, sorry, there's no linkage between what they're doing at this grassroots level and what Britball can do, and it could work really nicely. So yeah, it's just the NFL just like they just want to sell jerseys and tickets, like that's it. They don't care about any.
They're right. They're doing a good job, because on October 17th, Miami Dolphins. That's all that matters. That's all that matters to me. Yeah, but no, I do understand your point.
But that's like so like they're not going to do much to help British American football, but British American football could do a lot to help themselves with what the NFL are doing, and they're not. So it's like for me the onus is on us, like our NGB, to take the mantle and to do something about the huge level of interest that keeps popping up in the sport every year for a couple of games when the NFL come to town. We just don't do enough. TD Crew. Oh, cool.
Yeah, Brotherhood is it?
Nice. Yeah, so that means they would even up the score. I think they were 7-0 down. Rams 37-0. Grant said, I hope they look at cross-divisional games this season and implement some kind of regional cap. Gives the Prem teams the opportunity to rep their fourth strings for 2022. Oh, that would be interesting. Well, they did that, but when I first started playing, they used to have, there was no Prem. It was Div 1 was the highest level, and then they had Div 1A. So it was like you'd play, if you were a Div 1, which I was, you'd play a Div 1A team once, and the Div 1A teams played each other twice, and then you play the other Div 1 teams once. So it was like you did play the better teams, but you only played them once. The worst teams in our case, but you only played them once. So yeah, they were still like spankings, but like it wasn't like 2 fixtures, and I think that worked quite well. So yeah, that could work. Oh, it's 7-6. Let's go Railroaders, # team of Britball. Mate, it'd be so good if they won. We'll see how it goes. Let's see if there's any other scores.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit worried about the lack of Who's Valley news, if I'm honest.
We haven't had anything from the Highland Stags and Dunfermline. Inverclyde and the Pirates are just kicking off. Right, let's do a rundown of the scores. So we don't know about the Pirates, Goliaths, Hunters, Blackhawks. We don't know. Stags. Why is it all the Scottish teams aren't giving us updates? We don't know. Yeah, they don't like us. Gateshead 20-0 up against the Presidents. The Romans 21-all against the Nighthawks. Unbelievable. Rams 37-0. Is it 37? Yeah. Against the Raiders. The Giants 27-14 against the Mustangs. Scunthorpe Alphas 1-0 walkover against the Lincolnshire. South Links Lightning. Tamworth 57-0 against Shropshire. The Surge 7-6 against the Railroaders. Cambridgeshire Cats 26, Eagles 0. Is that
32.
Right? No, 32. Okay, I need that. Yeah, it's not updated here. The South Wales Warriors 12, the Swindon Storm 0. 1-0 walkover for the Aztecs over the Black Knights. 6-all Raptors and Wyverns. Good game. Knights Thunder was cancelled. The Spartans versus the South East Squadron 18-0 and conceded at that point by the Squadron. Hornets, Wembley Stallions, we still don't have a score for, so that would be good to get that one, guys. Solent Thrashers 16, London Olympians 6, and then Leicester Falcons 2, Manchester Titans 27. We've just got an update. Leicester Falcons 2, Manchester Titans 35. Right. So I think those are all the latest scores. There may be one or two might be off. We'll see. What's you answer this one?
What's opinions on Uniball and Scholar athletes in mucks? You know, it's always interesting when you learn about scholarships being handed out, because obviously it's not as apparent in this country. I do think it's interesting. Obviously, like we have to. We don't have to, but we do. We base ourselves on the American system. Obviously, we don't pack out like stadiums like they do, so we don't have the spare money. You know, I think Uniball's a very good place to start, and I think it's always interesting. Like some of the best games that I've been a part of, Uniball games. I think that. I just have a soft spot in my heart for it, but it's so, like, I think I've only ever heard of like one person while I was playing, not for my team. There was like, yeah, they're giving out scholarships, and I think if your team is doing well enough and are successfully winning games in the top divs, you can give them out. It's scholarships happen, and if your team's good enough, you should give them out. But yeah, I can't remember who it was. I think it was like I want to say Nottingham. I heard they were giving out scholarships or something along those lines.
Yeah, see, I don't like my view on it is that there needs to be a parity. So, like, teams need to be able to have. Like, I don't know the rules on it, and what I mean by that is like, can a team offer a better or more scholarships than another team because they're in a different division, or their university is larger, or it's got a different courses that allow them to do different things. So, like, I think as long as there's fairness in it and parity across the teams, and you don't get a competitive advantage because of the structure of your organisation, then it's fine. But if if it's a case of like the big teams or the big universities get all the big and best players, get the most imports and get the best deals for them or scholarships for them, then I have sort of a problem with it. But if it's a fair playing ground and you just sort of like someone just said, I prefer to go to Oxford because I wanted to go to Oxford, that's cool, and each team has got the same amount. But yeah, I don't know enough about the scholared athlete structure to be able to pass comment on it. I think scholarships are good? Absolutely, man. Like, and education is extremely important, and the fantastic opportunities for students both sides of I was going to say both sides of the Atlantic, but also into Europe, to enjoy a year, 2 years, 4 years, whatever it may be, getting life experience, playing sport, getting an education. Like, you can't argue with that, right? Like, that's amazing. Absolutely. Like, and lucky and gifted and just fantastically fortunate to be able to give those to have that opportunity. My problem with it would come if there was competitive advantage given based on structure. So team A gets 6, team B gets 3 imports, and they can't do anything about it.
The thing to that is, like, would Div 2 teams be able to, uni Div 2 teams, be able to, like, go to their university and say, look, we've got this, we've seen this going on from a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, they're going to turn around and say no. But obviously,
why is that realistic that they'll turn around and say no?
Because, well, some unis definitely don't advertise enough for the American football team, because it's as much as we may love it, the people watching love it. It's at university. As far as this is how I felt. It's considered relatively fringe as terms of a society.
Well, yes, it is. But then actually, in the 2019 season, Big Wednesday, which is the Bucks' big finale sporting event where they get all of the big finals going, they included American football in it. They were going to include American football in it for the first time ever. So it is growing in stature.
Yeah.
Even at that uni level, like that was a huge thing for that to be announced. I can remember it, and it was going to be like the kick-off event as well, like the first event of Big Wednesday. So I think it's trending in the right direction. You're right, like societal wise, and I can understand within a particular uni, the American football teams aren't like the athletes aren't like considered like the most popular, like they are in the US.
Speak for yourself, Steve.
But at the same time, like it is growing. There is opportunity there. One of the things that Grant just said is about Bucks points. Get Bucks points in unis will give scholarships. It's funny because it's something that I want to look into with our new platform that we're sort of about to release with Gridiron Hub, which has got a different name to Gridiron Hub, but is to help facilitate pathways for scholarships, because there's a huge mystification to it. Like I said, I don't know about it, but want to get our arms around it, get an understanding of it, and help people find information and help teams find players, help players find courses and teams and all that sort of stuff, because it seems like in this country quite a dark art to be able to know that this stuff exists. So I just want to just from an information perspective, like here's everything, here's what you can do, and because I think it's so to answer the question, I think it's massively important. I don't know enough about it to pass opinion in terms of its fairness, but I'd say it has to be fair if it's if it's going to be credible. Like it shouldn't be a case that someone can just hoard a whole team of American imports and Canadian imports and get a win. Like that's just pointless. So
see, that's why, like, from what you've told me about the new site, that's what I'm excited about. There's going to be a place to sort of get all the information, but learn. I think that's what's most important. It's like like learning is one thing that's definitely not the game, but everything outside the game is something that I can definitely feel that's missing in terms of the Britball experience. So I can't go into it too much, but I was worried you could tell me to stop talking.
No, it's fine. I don't mind talking about it. Like it essentially, for those watching, Gridiron Hub will be almost unrecognisable to what it is now. It will still have we'll still do Gameday Live, we'll still have media side of it, but we're actually adding another component part, which we sort of touched on, which is all about helping clubs, helping players, helping leagues, and actually going into other sports as well and other countries. So it's like quite ambitious plans, but it's I put a post up earlier this week or last week looking for front end developers, because I've got a back end developer guy that does all the website and everything. He can do front end, but it's not his forte. We've got paid a designer quite a lot of money to redesign the whole thing, new logo, new branding, new like branding guidelines, which is weird having a PDF with brand guidelines and colour schemes and all this. But then we've got the whole website is being redesigned in different form factors. So, based on the device you use, the website will look different, a lot more useful than what it is now, and new functionality. And the guys involved in Gridiron Hub know what that functionality is, but I can't let the cat out of the bag just yet. But the idea is that anyone that's involved in the sport should be able to find some huge value in what we're about to provide, which is really exciting. And essentially the website's been designed, but I need the front end developer to turn these graphics that this person's made into the actual website. So that's why we're just vetting them now. We've got 4 that we've shortlisted. They've all been given a test trial run through the next few days, and then we'll go ahead with whatever ones prevail out of that, and hopefully can smash it out and get this website up and running. And yeah, I lie awake at night thinking about it. I can't wait for this thing to launch. I've got $2,000 worth of merchandise over there that I've had.
I was about to say, I'm ready. As soon as that hat goes on sale, bang.
Yeah, I'm not selling any of it. I'm giving it all away. But yeah, of course you can have a hat. But yeah, there's hats, there's shirts, there's hoodies, there's hand sanitizer, face masks, mouse mats, mugs. Can't remember, whatever. Like, there's just loads of stuff. We went all out on it, and yeah, it's going to be really exciting. So yeah, but yeah, like with this like new dawn, there'll be. It won't all launch at the same time, but we'll constantly be bringing out initiatives that are just there to help people that are gonna push the game, and sport in general forward for people. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Right. Anyone remember the first couple of Manchester Spartan games at Northwich against the Ravens back in '84? Very large crowd, very little organisation, but 48-0, 27-0.
Well, considering I was a glint in my dad's eye in '84, no.
I was 2. Or 1. Leicester USQB and DMU Scholar on his Instagram. DMU are Div 2. Cool.
Right. When Uniball Game Day Live kicks off, I'm not going to talk disparagingly about the DMU Falcons. I really like.
No, they're not called the Falcons. They're called the Lions now.
No, because I've just seen, because after you said go on to Bucks, and I've seen the 28th of November is Lincoln at and DMU, so that'll be So I imagine me and my lovely compatriot will be will have a big ticker at the bottom of the screen, just like this is the game. But no, that's interesting. I didn't know that DMU had a.
And they've got.
Well, that's it. Because
their head coach is probably, not probably, one of the best British QBs ever to exist, Stuart Franklin. So it's quite telling that he's able to bring in a QB.
And so Steve,
interesting.
Steve, you can notice my silence when you speak about the DMU Falcons. No, it's interesting because I know that in the last season that I played, DMU went up. I believe they went up to Div 1. So it's interesting that they're back down.
Yeah, they were. They were Div 1, and then they just had a bit of a torrid time back down to Div 2. Solent rushing TD, extra point no good, 22-6 to Solent over the O's. Sean Cook, who is the head coach for the Cardiff Cobras, says they don't have scholarships there. Why is that, Sean? Can you elaborate?
What Div are Cardiff? Sorry, we're asking two.
They just got promoted to Div 1 or the Prem. They just had a really good season, and I can't remember what. No, they're Div. Oh shit! I should know this. I'm pretty sure they're Div 1. No, I'm gonna have a look. I'm annoyed I don't know that.
When I was playing Uniball, scholarships were they're a punchline to well, that was a good, good play. We'll do the big gather round, and your mum will phone you, and then the head coach will shower you with confetti. It's again, it's just another disparity in terms of uni and college ball, but it's
The Cobras are in the Prem South now. They were promoted.
So I wouldn't even know how you'd go about doing it, to be completely honest. And I feel like that's whatever.
The Cats are 38-0.
Yeah,
let me just run through these scores.
Yeah, sure.
And then 44-0.
Wow.
Stuart said, "I'm back. What do I miss?" Oh, so Sean says yet.
Yet.
Which is fine. Promoted to the Prem, yeah. Thanks, Sean, for confirming. I think the Falcons' US head coach is now head coach there too. I may be corrected by someone. Oh, right, okay. I thought it was Franklin still. Just got promoted to the Prem. We get the Welsh Bowl in the Prem South. Oh yeah, Swansea Cardiff. That'll be good. Sean said, I don't want to dunk on Cardiff University, but a lack of financial support from the AU, as I'm sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, I coach at Griffins, and we've just got to the Prem North. We don't have scholarships. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, I don't know enough about it, but I'd like one of my next big steps with Gridiron Hub is to wrap our hands around that a little bit more and link up with these unis and start to understand what they can offer and can't offer, and how we can help promote their positions, their availability there. Because I was looking into this with a couple of ex-NFL players in North Carolina that we're working with, and because they're really interested in sending some talent over to the UK, and even the prospect of a US athlete paying, I think it was, and I may be getting these numbers wrong, but £16,000 a year to go to uni, right? Let's just say that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Even that is massively attractive to loads of Americans, because the alternative is spending thousands of dollars more to go to a US university. So like there's actually even without a scholarship, there's actually a very good selling point, or very good unique selling points for the British League, and that's sort of what we want to help try and promote.
Exactly, because it's just all about promotion. Because like there was always ideas floating around when I was at uni, like what can we do to promote? But some of them didn't come up particularly, or they didn't come up at all. Like I even think, just one thing that I think, and I think that's based out of the background in wrestling, is if you want people to treat you as professional, you need to look professional. And I feel like there's so many organisations, and I'm not just ragging on Uniball here, but if you present it as professional, people will come. That's one thing that in all of Britball can really be taught. Don't treat it for what it is. Treat it as what it can be. And I think that's something that's missing. And I think that even us doing something like this, and me and Maris doing something like the Uniball show when that comes over, nice.
So why did we win 6-0 over the Raptors? Sorry, go on, mate.
No, I think that's something that can only be positive in terms of how the sport is portrayed, and how the players themselves feel when they play. If let me shut my window again. Because there wasn't something like this. I will shut my window in a second. Don't worry. There wasn't something like this, Pride. We'd have to I remember trying to find scores, and it was always such a hassle. Like, oh, who's doing this, and then this is just here, I'll play a game, and then when I'm sat on the coach, I'll pop this up. Who's won in my div? Like, it's just added layers of professionalism, you know. And I know that I'm sat here wearing an XFL jersey and a Dolphins cap, but maybe I'll have the blue suit on, for the next time I'm on.
No, I don't think we need to dress up. I think we can be as amateur as the sport we're covering. But at the same time, yeah, you're right. Like, the whole point of this show was to, raise the bar a little bit and give, and like just like you said, like some sort of exposure. Hopefully more people find out about the sport. Hopefully people watch this and can see, the like say the data, the scores, and how, and might even link back to the website for us. And like one of the reasons we created Gridiron Hub was because BAFA were doing such a terrible job of scores and everything, and they're getting better at it. I wouldn't say League Republic is that good or adopted, but it is improving. But one of the things was like BAFA aren't doing anything. Like we'll just do what BAFA are supposed to be doing, it's just sort of grown from there. All right, what else have we got? Rams after 39-0. Oh. Sheffield.
It's going so well. I was
41,
ready.
Yeah. 41-14 over Donny. Fair enough. Maybe Donny are done scoring now. These games have got to be coming to an end soon, and they were half four now.
Has someone got an update for the Tamworth Rev game? I want to see. I'm hoping Rev get at least
what a score.
At least one.
Just checking some scores. Let me just check Twitter. Final score: Cats 38, Eagles nothing. That's just come through.
I thought it was 44.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. 44 was put up, wasn't it? Maybe they got it wrong. But this is the Cats official Twitter.
Okay.
38 nothing.
I imagine that
So Doncaster just confirming that Sheffield making it 41-14. The Rams lead 39-0 after a safety. 6-0 to the Wyverns full time over the Raptors. And that's everything up to date. Be good to get some Scottish scores in if we can. Oh, hold on. No, that can't be right.
What?
No, it is 6-0. It's all right. I've just seen elsewhere they said 6-all, but it's not. Senators 32, Presidents 0.
What have you done, Steve, to annoy the Scottish teams? Why are they not giving us the scores?
I don't know. It's probably from my days doing gridiron memes. People still hate me from that.
To be fair, I've got a few messages when they were being questionable. So I was like, "Oh, do you know the people who run this?" I'm like, "No, why would I know the people who?"
I've had that over the years, man. The amount of times that people I know were like asked who, if it was me that was running it or who it was that ran it. I don't care anymore. We haven't done it for ages. So.
Just preface it. Let's start with restraint. No, it's not us, and then carry on.
Nah, I don't. Well, I try to distance myself from it and not even talk about it. But just I don't know. In some people's eyes, it will never be gone. Fair play. What do you want me to do about that? Oh my God. They've done it. The Romans have pulled ahead. The Romans, for the first time in the game, are leading by 1 point over the Nighthawk. This is awesome. This is our dream come true.
not just that.
I don't know how long's left in the game, obviously, and obviously the Nighthawks are going to get the ball back. But yeah, the Romans, as it stands right now, are 1 point ahead of the Nighthawks. Jesus.
I just need to see. I need to see if. I'm just hoping. This is my hope currently, is that Shropshire have at least put on something.
Rams TD plus 2 points, 47-0. The Rams over the Raiders. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I'm starting to fatigue a bit now. You'll have to do all the talking.
That's fine. That's fine. I've got such a strange affinity for Nottingham Raiders. I don't know why.
Do you?
I really don't know why. I just do. I don't know. I've just got a feeling that, like, you know, just an interesting team. I don't know why. You know, give me the Hard Knocks Nottingham Raiders. That's what I want.
Why them? Why have you picked them?
I don't know, Steve. That's the problem. It always be interesting because obviously they're not playing this week. You know, Lincolnshire Bombers as well. And I need to see if there's any Colonials playing this year. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I don't know who. You know, it's. If anything, I'm just sat here hoping that there's positives to take away from the Ouse Valley game. Hopefully, they're going to put something up in a little bit. But obviously, if the game's just ended, 38. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just interesting. You know, I'll confer with one of my friends who's the QB. I'm sure that he'll, in about 20 minutes, we'll get a WhatsApp message, and he'll be, you know, tell me a bit more. But it's so interesting. It's so interesting to see, and I just wish there was another East Anglia game to sort of compare and contrast, because obviously, like, Cambridge are the sort of big bad dog of the division.
I've got a score update for the Knights versus the Knights.
Go on.
We're winning 24-6.
So, and they're still D are still on 6.
Yeah.
This is what I just not.
It's not good Britball.
Bring back good Britball, mate. I'm going to reform the London Ravens. That's the plan.
Yeah, well, it's funny, isn't it, though? Like, I don't know about their demise. Obviously, they're not around anymore. So, it's like, you think about all these old teams. The only team that I think is always like ever present and has been there since the dawn is the Birmingham Bulls.
Yeah.
And the Bulls, like, I mean, as like a top team. Like, they were apparently like mustard.
But again, it's like, you know, living in Hertfordshire for a long time. I didn't even know that Luton had, you know, Luton had a team like the Flyers.
Mm.
Again, like, it'd be interesting to see how many people who are sort of new or newer to football, especially in the university landscape, they wouldn't be able to even I can comprehend the amount of people that there were. But even any sort of legacy.
I'm pretty sure at one point there was something like 200 or 300 teams playing.
It's just
pretty sure something. I think that's what my brother said to me.
It's just something so mad to like look at it now as opposed to then. No, the Olympians.
Yeah, the O's have been around a while. I know, like the Knights were like mid '80s or early '80s, '83, I think. Senators and Presidents happened in 1996, 1986. Yeah, but
Is that
they're not
DC?
continued service, are they?
Is that
Oh,
DC
actually-
presidents?
Yeah, no, but they were called. They weren't called the DC Presidents. They were called the Washington Presidents initially. But yeah, that is the DC team. O's folded for a bit. Yeah, yeah. I'm talking. Yeah, continued service clubs. Even the Knights aren't. The Knights had a season out in 2012.
So is it only the Bulls who have had a
I think.
continued?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. That they may have had a season off. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't
'Cause, like,
think they
I-
have. I'm pretty sure they've been solid. I'm pretty sure they've been around properly for years.
Because I find it interesting when I talk to people on the Eagles when they're sort of going through the history of the Pathfinders and the Blue Raiders.
The Bournemouth Bobcats, they were restarted about 10 years ago. They did have a break. Sorry, mate, what were you saying?
Like, it's even interesting to talk about like the old teams in the Bedfordshire area. Like Blue Raiders and the Pathfinders. Like, I find that interesting. Like, it's so.
Well,
there's
look,
obviously
TD2
something-
Olympians, 2-pointer good, 22-14 to Solent. Squeaky bum time. Sorry, go on.
There's such like apparently very prestigious and lucrative history in Britball that people just don't know. Well, I don't know, and I don't know if I'm basing that. It could just be just me. I'm ignorant and I play too much Madden, and I'm like, well, the Dolphins won in '72, and that's the only bit of history that is important to me. But it is interesting. It's something that I might go away and discuss with some other friends of mine, because it's just stuff that I thought I was well versed, but alas, no, I know nothing.
Yeah, no, there's a massive history to the game, and there's so many funny things as well. I think it was a Glasgow team that released a music video, and they're like they did a song, and if I remember right, it was like on an open top bus or on and off an open top bus, driving around, and I've seen that clip several times. So there was some really funny stuff. Yeah, there's Britball now, which is the website's got loads of stuff on it, although it's not been updated for a long time. That's where my brother got most of his information from.
Is that on Facebook?
Yeah, Britball now is, but they stopped updating stuff a while ago, which is a shame. But there's some really good stuff there. First time man of the Bournemouth Bobcats at the time of the Ravens, they had a lethal QB as possibly one of the best ever to play the game in the country, Albert Higgs. That's not a name I've heard yet. I've heard most names that get dropped, but yeah, cool. I've heard some really good, over the years, some stories of the different play and playmakers that, especially at quarterback, that teams had.
It'd be interesting to see where they are now. Where all these people are now. They very well could be in the States doing other things. They could, it could be as simple as there are people who I've been under as and they're my coach, and they might have considerably more experience in terms of this than I know. I've just simply not asked the right questions because I didn't even know how big it was. It's because I remember even my dad who doesn't go on and give the score out before I keep talking.
So Rams full-time score here now. So Yorkshire Rams win 47-0 over the Nottingham Raiders. So yeah, thank you for that, Mark. Really appreciate you confirming it, mate. Yeah, go on. Sorry, mate.
It's like my dad, he doesn't. He's never really sat down and watched it. He might have watched one game in his life. He told me in the 80s he was over in Texas, and he was yeah, I'll buy a Cowboys jersey. It's like even something as simple as that, someone who doesn't like football, they buy one just about the immense popularity that it was there. And obviously, like, I then disowned him because don't buy Cowboys jerseys around me. I'm not sick of it.
Gareth just dropping some more names.
Dunstable's had a team.
Dunstable Cowboys, MK Bucks, rocking. Yeah, no, I got well on our database that we've got. I've got a whole list of all the names, man. Unbelievable. Like the areas you think, no wonder they can sustain a team. Like just in the middle of nowhere.
No, I've been a Dunstable a few times in my life. I don't know. They could have done. No, I don't know. I swear, if there was ever a Biggleswade team, you let me know. I'll be very. There won't be, but if there was, I'd be very impressed.
Black Country Nailers. I never heard of those.
That's a good name, though.
My favourite name in the whole of Britball is a flag one. Is the Werewolves.
That's a great name. I used to live near where
the Werewolves.
Where is it?
I have no idea.
Damn.
Right, Giants 48, 14. I don't know if that's a full time score. It's got to be coming up for. It's got to be coming up for full time there, isn't it? Pray for Donny. They just outclassed today, and fair enough. I think we sort of knew that. There's a lot of one-sided games today. Still no Scottish scores. Can someone get on Instagram and find them? Or Twitter? I can't. Stuart's come back from giving blood now. He now needs to turn his attentions to the Scottish leagues. What other games have we not got? I don't think we've had a score. No, we still haven't had a score for the Hornets and the Stallions, and that game was a 2 o'clock kickoff, so should be wrapping up now. But so it'd be good to know a scoreline there. But we don't have many full-time scores in.
I can't see anything on. Is it the Dunfermline Knights?
Dunfermline Kings.
There's nothing on their Twitter. Unbelievable stuff.
I knew this one. The Stains Removers. I knew that one.
Is that with no way?
Genuine name. Genuine. Yeah. Well, I can't get a score from the Knicks Rev. How am I going to get north of the wall? Yeah. They're blacklisting us.
The Stains Removers.
Yeah, genuinely, that was a team name. Just quickly, another thing I wanted to plug. We had this interview with, I'm going to try and say his name, Bradley Charalambos, who is a young British player who is on the cusp of going into the Canadian draft as a kicker. And Mike had a sit-down talk with him earlier this week that we live streamed. The video's available on... I've got it on Facebook there, but you can get it on Twitch or YouTube. It was brilliant. I watched the whole thing, and it was great hearing him. He had lots of advice for like young players. We're actually gonna create a web page from all of the advice that he pulled together, like how to help people navigate through things and understand things. Because he said there's a lot of information out there that is like protected and guarded and doesn't need to be. And yeah, we want to sort of make it a bit more available for people. So I'm going to be doing a follow-up, a written follow-up piece that I'll share the webpage once we've got it up. But yeah, I just thought I'd plug that because if you've got, I think it's about an hour. You don't have to watch the whole hour, but if you've got some time and want to watch something quite a really nice, insightful, he's a lovely lad as well, and he had quite a journey with different clubs. So yeah, just thought I'd plug that. Right, what else have we got? Fair enough, but it's still a close game. But the Romans are now 28-33 down to the Nighthawks. I don't know how long left in the game, but that's the score update we've got. The Surge, the Surge is full time. They beat the Crewe Railroaders just by 1 point. And again, fair play to them. I think we predicted Surge win, but certainly not as close as that. So fair play. Houston Oilers I didn't know about that one. Bristol Packers, Brighton B-52s I knew about, and the Portsmouth Warriors I knew about. I actually met Portsmouth. Yeah, Houston Oilers. That's awesome.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Portsmouth Warriors I know about. I actually was at like a barbecue and chatting to some bloke, and he ended up talking about American football, and he used to be like a star player for the Warriors, the Portsmouth Warriors. That was like, he was like the coolest bloke I ever met from that point. Full time, Solent have won. Solent Thrashers have beat the London Olympians 22-14. So a lot closer than I expected. I thought there'd be a few scores in that. But yeah, congrats to Solent. And we get another full-time scoring. Up the Donny. 48-22. Doncaster have scored again.
Yes.
They got 8 points as well. Come on, Doncaster. Closing that gap. Oh, brilliant. The Newcastle Browns.
That's another good one.
That's funny, man. We should we should do a little thing on all the funny old names.
We should do.
Because there's some bangers in there. Stains removers. I don't. You can't beat that. The comeback is on. Yeah. It certainly is. We'll see. Pray for Donny. Come on, Donny. Hashtag pray for Donny, sorry. Is what we should say. Right, let's see. I just want to check. I'm just going to check through. Oh, yeah, we got some updates on Twitter. Probably everything we already know. So Taylor Umland runs for 14 yards. I assume Taylor's been mentioned in all the touchdowns, so I assume he's the QB. The Mustangs still trail, but the score's 48-22, which we know. I think that's full time. Did we not? Yeah, full time Nottingham Raiders 0, Yorkshire Rams 47. I think we had that already. Just confirming it on Twitter. Surge 7, Railroaders 6. Confirming that. Yeah, that's us up to date. The Isle of Wight Rhinos. That's another team I knew about. Coach Rains used to play for them. Yeah. They sort of tried to start up again recently. I saw like some Facebook group for them. I think that's a really tough. That's a very, very tough team to exist because of the amount of of the travel, you know. But yeah, it's sort of. I don't know. I can't see that. I can't see it ever really working out there. But that's where I'm from, the Isle of Wight. Do you know that?
I didn't know that, mate. No.
I was born on the Isle of Wight in St Mary's Hospital, and that's where I was when I contracted coronavirus about 3 weeks ago. Full time between South Wales and Swindon, so that ends 12-0, which was the half-time score. So a bit uninspired there, really, from South Wales. They're not really firing on all cylinders at the moment, I don't think. But at least they get their stud linebacker back next game now.
I'm just going to assume that the Shropshire Rev Tamworth game has come to a close.
It's funny you're so interested in that one. Is there not any updates on social media?
Let me have a gander. I imagine Tamworth.
Usually things like what I find is teams are quite good at updating either Twitter or Instagram. Not many do it on Facebook.
So I just went through and had a look at some of the Scottish teams, and I've not seen.
Maybe their internet's out up there.
So I was going to make that joke earlier, but I wasn't sure if I was going to get shouted at.
By me?
No, just in general.
You probably will. A full-time Knicks, 54 Revs at 0.
Okay.
So we're closing in on everything now, which is cool. Paul's come up with some more. Granite City Oilers, Clydesdale Colts, Musselburgh Magnums, and the Edinburgh Blue Eagles. I think I've only heard of the Granite City Oilers out of those four. Yeah, we got a big, like when we launch a new site, that all of this data will be put into into it, and people can look through it, and it'll be pretty.
See, it's. I've heard the scores come in, and I always got a history lesson, and that's what you tune in to Game Day.
Yeah,
Live.
this week we focused massively on the history of Britball. It's been quite cool actually, but not that it's been a very extensive or exclusive version of it. It's just what bits and pieces that we know about.
See, it's interesting. It's interesting to me. I mean, and I'm hoping it's interesting to some people out there. I'm sure.
Only
there'll be
third
another
quarter in this Titans Falcons game. It's 35-16 to the Falcons. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, don't worry. With the format, I've just sort of gathered that's what's happening now. I'm hoping that someone out there is, as naive but also interested.
Yeah. We're waiting for the Natalie Breen saying we're waiting for the Scottish calls. Well, at least your internet works, Natalie. That sort of confirms that someone north of the wall. Actually, Paul's been commenting too. But hopefully they start. Someone can break the duck and let us know what the scores are up there. Obviously, we know one was a late kickoff, but certainly the other two games should be wrapping up now. So the Pirates and the Goliaths kicked off at 4. We still should have a score update. They'll come by a carrier pigeon to Baffa Towers. Yeah, actually, it's a good point. Let me check Baffa's site because sometimes teams just update that.
How much money are we putting in a Baffa pot this week? I've brought it up too much.
No, we're not counting. The Nighthawk. Oh, that's the latest score. Oh my god, yeah, they're updating the latest scores. 18-0. Yeah, so there's only one score in, which is the Spartan Squadron 18-0 on the Baffa site. But yeah, we could do London Hornets, Wembley Stallions would be nice, and then the 3 Scottish games. Internet very much works. Must be thrilling games. Hopefully.
I'm going to see what the do the Hornets have a Twitter?
Yeah, I think that most teams have got all social media. It's just whether they actually use it or not. But a lot of them use stories. Like they'll on Instagram, they use Instagram stories to do the updates.
Oh, okay.
Stu said they've all been rained off.
Unbelievable stuff from.
Are we only waiting for the Scottish scores then? Oh, let me just refresh. We'll get.
Watch them all coming up once, mate. That's you feel that's what's going to happen, don't you? No, nothing from. No stories on.
We'll get James. James, I don't know if you can hear me, but when you're ready, come back on. James, what's the how are we doing on the scores? Are we just waiting for Scotland and
the Hornets game, I believe. Yeah,
and everything else is in.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll probably start wrapping it up then, because if we got like 0 comms from these games, there's not much more we can do. Cool. All right. Thank you, James.
No worries.
You're the man.
Thank you, James.
Cool. Right. Well, yeah. We'll start calling it a day. I think what we'll do is, guys, for watching the Stock Exchange Stags and the London Mets. I know the London Mets. I didn't know there was a Stock Exchange team. That's hilarious. So we'll as always, what we do for those of you that don't know, with the outstanding scores, I'll update them on the Facebook post, and maybe later if I get the chance to, I'll do the scores posts that we do, like the single score for each game. I don't know. We'll see if that's if that's feasible. And I'm reliant on someone helping me with that, so it may be tomorrow that we put those out. But yeah, we'll finish everything up now. Thanks everyone for watching, and the many people that comment and update us. It's awesome. We love doing this. Chris, thank you for jumping on, mate.
No problem.
Yeah, and obviously,
I'm going to spend the
thank
rest
you
of
to
the day
producer
looking for
James.
strange removers, mate.
Yeah, and you know, it's been like you say, a history lesson of sorts for you. But yeah, you know, thanks everyone for, you know, getting involved with this stuff. Like I said, there's lots more to come from, well, what Gridiron Hub is going to become over the next, I don't know, I'm hoping it's a month. I want to really push these guys to fucking put it out there. But yeah, Stu says, see you in 2 weeks. We've got a game next week. # plug the live stream. Cool, yeah, we will. We'll, you know, continue to do what we do, let everyone know about stuff. If you ever want to get involved with anything to do with Gridiron Hub, and that includes the live shows or writing articles or doing whatever, just get in touch. You know, like, the whole point of it is that it's a community platform. People can all contribute. These two guys here can tell you that they get stuck in, the more the merrier is sort of how I see it. It'd be great to have people looking at, you know, even someone looking at old teams. That'd be amazing, you know, doing stuff on that, or with the women's game or the under 16s or whatever. You know, like, we don't have all the expertise of the entire spectrum of Britball, but we've got a platform and we've got good intentions, and, you know, we've got a winning formula, and you know, we're more than happy to sort of facilitate and equip and assist. So yeah, if you guys want to, if anyone out there wants to get stuck in and get involved with what we do, just get in touch. And that's it. James, anything from you before we go?
Nah, I'm hungry.
Cool. Well, enjoy your food, mate. Thank you so much for what you do, mate, every week. And Ted, what about you? Anything from you?
You know what? I'm on the same wavelength. I'm hungry as well. I'm gonna go
Good.
and munch and wait for
I'm
some-
also hungry. I'm probably gonna go to sleep for a couple of hours. My eyelids are like half closed. I can see it. I'm fucking done in. But enjoyed it, and yeah, thanks guys. We'll catch up soon.